Welcome back, everybody. This is Mark 140. That's right, 140 of the Geeks Chasing Squirrels podcast, doing it across the multiverse. My name is Greg, the Bat Daddy 52, and folks, I'm glad I ate a light dinner because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be eating a little bit of crow tonight, served up by MCU and served up by Marvel and Miss Marvel especially because I was a little pessimistic about it going in, but I gave it a chance and I watched it and went in open-minded and got some good things to say about it. But we've got that to talk about. Obi Wan, The Boys, Strange New World, Black Adam finally drops a trailer, Ross sees Top Gun. Lots of stuff to talk about this week, so let's get things going. Just mentioned him right there. Ross, what's going on, buddy?
Not a whole much. Just sitting here chilling, man. Friday night chilling. Tired. I know everyone's had a week, so...
Yeah, the long week after the short week always seems crazy.
Feels like you're just climbing uphill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just pushing rocks.
Yeah.
No.
What's up, Sarah?
Oh man, like I said, it's been a crazy week. It was a pretty decent start, but man, yesterday there was like some work drama. It was like, really, seriously, are we adults here or are we kids? I mean, it's
work drama is terrible. That's part of the reason why I chose to be a mail carrier is because like I spend a little bit of time in the office and then I'm out on my own for the most part the rest of the day.
Well, see,
I do it public, but
and that's what's so funny because technically, I mean, I'm remote, so it's like I don't technically have an office. So it's
Right.
just fellows that fellow coworkers are just acting crazy. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm like, there's all this animosity, and like, why can't we work together? We're on the same team. We have the same goals. Let's just, pitch it. Let's adult a little bit. I know it's hard. Don't get me wrong. I know it's hard, but hey, let's just, we're all on the same team here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've been just like staring at my phone and talking to people. I'm just like, I'm looking at my computer with like emails. Like, are you seriously? Did you really just email me this?
I'm doing this as hard as I can.
I even had somebody tell me, it's like, whoever made that decision, you make sure you find that emoji and give them a finger for me. I'm like, okay, will do.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, this is your chance to relax. Let that all out. Kind of,
Yes.
loosen up the tension in the shoulders a little bit.
It'll be fine. We fine.
Did just see a trailer for the first time.
Yes.
And you saw it right before we hit live, so we didn't actually get a chance to hear your reaction about it. I'm going to play it in the background as we talk over it with no sound, so that way because you just saw it for the first time, and I've only seen it, I think that's the third time I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And then just give me some initial thoughts, and we'll talk about this new Black Adam trailer that's dropped that I've heard really, really good things about from just about everybody I've talked to, except for the stuff I've read, which is crazy, and heard on like professional radio. So I don't know. My opinion always seems to differ from theirs, though, which is weird because I'm the consumer, and most of the time we outnumber them. But
that's why you listen. They
Yeah.
want to cause a little turmoil in your life, just like the people that work with Sarah.
Yes.
Circle. Full circle.
Yeah,
There we go.
exactly.
All right. So I'm going to share this, and Sarah, give me some thoughts. You just saw it for the first time.
Mhm.
So start us off. What did you think just initially seeing this going on?
I just like I don't know, I guess just the power and the attitude. I mean, that's what I got, is just like attitude, especially, I'm really curious to see the origin aspect of it because, in one scene, if you're saying that he was, a slave for all these years, so he like put up with all this, shit and all this, that, and other, and then whatever happens, and then, I guess the circumstances of how you become Black Adam, because I know nothing about the source material. But I'm like, yeah, that would probably, why would you want to be a hero when whatever created you? But I just love the fact of like, well, heroes don't kill people. Well, I do.
But I do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That line. And that's where it's going to be a good. That's what makes me interested in this movie is like, what kind of character is this going to be? And as you see right here, just seeing all the other characters, the costumes, I think look fantastic. Mm-hmm. I was blown away by this trailer. I'm insanely excited for this movie, just seeing this trailer. Like, I was already kind of excited for it before because I like The Rock and just about everything he's in anyway. I like most DC movies, as moving forward. So This just kind of reconfirmed what I thought, that it was going to be a great movie. And once again, I haven't seen it yet. It could be garbage. It could just be really good looking trailers and a garbage movie. But
Well,
I'm
the thing
excited.
about it, how long did The Rock? I mean, how long in production? This because it was like a 10-year. Was it like a 10-year deal or something like that? Because I mean, I know it was like he talked about it.
You're asking how long is his movie deal for, or how long has
No,
he
no,
been
no. I'm
planning
talking
on
about for
doing
this particular movie to get it.
He's been hanging on to it. He's been talking about playing Black Adam for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why I'm like, I'm really curious to see what, how this is going to pan out.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if it's something that The Rock is like 100% behind, and there's rarely anything I've seen The Rock in I don't like.
No.
Now, other than seeing just this Mr. Machine right here, I'm like, what is up with that? Did you guys get that vibe?
Totally.
So oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I think that the movie has felt longer because The Rock is very vocal about the projects that he works on that he likes. And I think that once they gave him the green light that he'd actually be able to talk about it, he was already trying to promote it before, probably the whole entire production staff was actually hired. The dude's already in shape, so you don't have to worry about that. Right. You're going to turn around and have the things in life that have made the past few years more difficult. He just kept promoting it, whereas we kept hearing things like The Flash, how it kept getting pushed back, and all of the turmoil that keeps coming with that every single day that we talk about it. Black Adam seems to be ironically, the lighter side of that conversation. We get to have a movie that looks good. My only qualm with the trailer is that it looks like I can pick out so many other comic book shots out of it that remind me of other movies, like the I guess you can call it cinematography for the actual trailer. But I am excited because it looks like a good movie. I mean, like everything that they have involved with this, character wise, and the casting, and I mean, I hope that the CG looks good. That's what I always hope for when it comes to these heavy movies. But I mean, I'm all on board for it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because that is the biggest complaint I've seen from people of complaining about this is the CGI. And one, it's a trailer, so we know everything might not be completely finished. Still October. I'm sure there's still stuff they're doing for the movie, and I don't want to make excuses because I always say that about other stuff that I'm skeptical about. And I'm not. I just personally don't see a lot of like flaws in the CGI. Like the only thing I could see in the whole thing was the one scene where the guy kind of jumps out of the plane into through like the little hole to shoot. It looks a little fake right there, that background. Other than that, I didn't really see anything else that looked bad. So I don't personally see the complaints there, but that's the only complaint, or one of the biggest complaints I've heard, is the CGI and it doesn't look good. But I have no problem with it. For me, I do like that they're going to do the origin. I wonder how deep they're going to go into that, how much of the movie that's going to be, and they've got to pull me away from the Mummy vibes.
Oh, totally.
I
cannot have.
I'm sorry. I know that's me. I know that's personal with me, but I feel like it's something that I think a lot of people it's going to be personal for because it.
This is not the Scorpion King.
It's not the Scorpion King, but you've got to pull me away from that because it looks at first glance very similar. So, and I'm sure they can do it, and I'm sure they have that in their mind. I mean, like I said, I'm not a smart guy. If I think of it, I'm sure somebody in that think tank's thought of it. So other than that, like I said, I'm really excited for it. I like the costumes of the other characters. Man, DC knocks some costumes out of the park. They really do. And Marvel has some good looking costumes too. I'm not saying they don't, but man, there's some really good looking costumes.
I can't wait to see live action Dr. Fate. That's going to be insane.
We didn't get to see in that trailer. I didn't see a full shot of him.
Yeah, it was kind of iffy because you saw just kind of saw little bits and pieces. So
right.
I want to see that. Just the whole. That'll be cool.
Yeah, October 21st. That's my anniversary weekend. So cool. I can add that to the list of something I want to do.
Is that when they said it was coming out?
Yeah, October 21st. So cool. Got something planned there already. First thing, I get to pick something that happens that weekend. So there we go. That'll be one thing. And I mean, it's The Rock, so I'm sure my wife won't. Oh, so while we're just talking about other movies and stuff other than the shows that we're watching, like just stuff that I've been watching this week. Have y'all seen that new Adam Sandler movie? Hustle, I think is the name of it.
Brian did, and he told me about it, and he was like, "It's really good."
It's really, really good. Like seriously, um,
It's not like one of the typical Sandler.
besides Love and Basketball, probably one of the best sports movies. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I may be caught in the moment, but man, it was really good. It was very current too, which is
Rewatch.
one thing. Yeah, I need to rewatch it. You're right, I need to rewatch it. But I really, really enjoyed it. Y'all should check it out. Really, really good movie.
Yeah.
Um, and then oddly enough, me and my wife watched Howard the Duck last night. Which, if you haven't watched that one in 30 years,
Don't.
Don't talk about CGI. Don't even bring that up.
Wow.
Mark,
I forgot that Tim Robbins was even in that movie.
I just forgot about it.
Yeah. Look, Kevin in the chat says the movie Hustle. It's a movie where Adam Sandler tries. Yeah, I mean he does. And like I said, it's a really really great story. Got a lot of recognizable people for me because I'm a huge NBA fan. But a lot of recognizable people and like I said, very very current and believable as far as like I can't think of a sports movie that's really current like within the last like I don't know 7-8 years that was really really good. So that's what I mean by current.
Well, Adam
Yeah.
Sandler's done a lot more than, I mean, like his newer movies that have come out since he hasn't been focusing on like toilet
Just the
humor or
comedies.
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like the ones that have been coming out, I've heard good things about. I've just struggled like trying to get through. I don't know. I'm too attached to like his other ones that he's done, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of like I don't want to sit through another one of those. Like I'm good. And then when I heard that Netflix was giving him like a multi-million-dollar deal to come up with all these movies, I was kind of like, why would you do that? But the ones that he's coming out with lately have been pretty damn good.
Ooh, Lindsay says she's going to, or AJ Lindsay, they're going to watch the boys for the first time tonight. Get ready. Like the first season, episode 1,
From the top.
because you're in for a treat. Well, I don't know. Treat maybe. It depends. Yeah, it's very behind on shows. I am too. Yeah. Okay. So Adam Sandler has 3 levels, man. He has like Ross when we were growing up. It was Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison, and they're great movies. He does a great job for that role that he's in. You know. Then he has the movies as he's getting older, like Grown Ups, and he was in some movie with Seth Rogen that I watched the other day, where he's a comedian and Seth Rogen's his joke writer. It was pretty decent.
It's like a cancer movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the movie like this, and this is described, I think, in the description of it as a dramedy. So it's a drama with a little bit of comedy, and it has a little bit of comedy, but not much. It's very real. But like I said, I told my wife as soon as like when I heard about it, I was like, as soon as this comes out, I want to watch it. And last night we had the time, and I was like, damn, put it on.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. I highly recommend it. Uncut Gems, is that the name of the movie, Kevin? That might be it.
Oh yeah, that was the where he was hawking the diamonds or whatever the deal was. He was like I don't know if it was a pawn shop or whatever he owned. I never actually saw it, but that's when they started coming out with those movies where he was actually playing a role and not, Happy Gilmore or like transitional humor. So, I mean, I've heard good things about it, all of his present stuff. So,
no. And then I just want to say, my wife currently right now is watching 1983 Tom Cruise, All the Right Moves. So, yeah.
It's funny. You go back and you look at his stuff right now, and you're like, I think it's the fact that they're trying to bring it all to like 4K, like high definition, and you're like, he looks fake. Like they de-aged him, and you're like, no, that's him. That's real. That's like when they shot it. It just looks like him in 4K now.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I did notice going back and watching movies like this, and it's especially like watching Howard the Duck. That movie is a stupid fucking movie, man. It's so dumb. The plot is so dumb. The story's so dumb. It's got a lot of actors in it though. But I'll tell you one thing: the practical effects of having a person in the suit, just like the original Ninja Turtles movies,
Yep.
I would rather see all day, every day, than a fully CGI character. Now, don't get me wrong. I know there's some that may be more way more difficult to do. But this is back in the 80s and early 90s, and they're doing some pretty amazing stuff with live action puppeteers and people in suits. And I'm just saying it looks great. Like, I was even looking at Howard Duck and like, this is a stupid movie, but I'm so glad that duck's not CGI. If they did this movie now, that duck would be a cartoon CGI duck.
Yeah, and those
You know?
people that like did those like in costume gigs like got treated like dirt shit.
They did. They did. And for that reason, I can understand them not wanting to do that kind of stuff now. But if you came in now and realized, hey, we
Yeah.
can't treat these people like that, it might be a little different.
Well, now there's appreciation. The art form is luckily, with, and I'm going to attribute a bunch of it to Star Wars because it's always been, more practical, more practical, more practical. And so when you hear that type of stuff and everyone jumps on board, like, yeah, like we need that. Look what happens when you go digital.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's why I'm so upset that you can't give me a realistic Jabba the Hutt, man. Like, they should have never gone CGI with Jabba.
Yeah.
Totally fine as a puppet.
Pushing the technology, man. Sometimes it's not always right.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, y'all want to... Was there any news or anything you want to talk about, Ross? You said you had a few things beforehand, but I don't know if there's anything you want to bring up.
There's random news. Like, I mean, we got, like, Joker 2 got picked up. So they're going to have Joaquin Phoenix coming and playing Joker again in another movie.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know how I feel about that either, but I didn't know how I felt about the first one, and it ended up being really good. Although I will say, I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that movie. You ever watched it? It was a good one. But
personally, I felt like if you took everything out that was DC related, I mean, it still would have been a good movie.
Exactly.
But I mean, I don't think it would. I just think it was just added, just having like the DC stuff. I mean, yeah. I don't think it really made it any better, or
Right. No, I agree. Here's the thing: is I saw the movie. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I've never gone back and watched it or like been flipping through stuff and been like, hey, let's watch the Joker again. Not that, like I said, it was a bad movie. It's just that for me, it doesn't have rewatchability. Like, I don't have the desire to rewatch that movie.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean making a sequel won't be good, but I don't. Once again, it's just me. So you said you never saw it, Ross?
I didn't. I mean, I had no reason not to. It was just one of those movies that where I was like, I already got my Joker. Like Heath Ledger was, that was what I wanted. And they turn around, they're going to tell this type of story. And I'm like, that's cool. I'll get to it when I get to it. And I still have not gotten to it.
Right.
So nothing to say anything. Like, I like Joaquin Phoenix. So, he plays random roles for me. Like I've seen a lot of things that he's done that I really never thought that I would watch, but I did. I just never made it to the Joker yet. I can't tell you why.
Well,
I need to watch it.
I got plenty of stuff like that. Don't worry. Big list. Big old list. I need to make a chalkboard wall.
Oh, yeah. Or notes.
I got lots of notepads.
We got Deadpool 3 is official, finally. So they are going to be doing it. And the word on the street is that they're still going to keep it R. So we'll see what happens with that. But they brought back the writer and director.
To get an R rating, you just have to drop the F-bomb, I think, more than twice.
I'm not saying it's hard. I'm only saying that it's hard for Disney.
That would be a good Deadpool joke. I'm not saying it's hard, but So I mean, that could be. We're still gonna keep it R, which means we're gonna drop the F-bomb three times, or maybe they'll drop it twice and have a little bit of blood here. Bam, rated R movie.
Hey,
so
we can. This show can get an R rating in the first 5 minutes if you just let me have my way.
I just don't see Disney putting something like that out. Now
we'll see. Hey, that's what I'm saying. You got to give them a chance to see where the direction they're going to go with it. They've allowed everything to stay, on the same path. So, the writing team of Reese and Warnick, I think, are the two guys who wrote the first two, and Brian Reynolds. And then they brought back, my God, what is that dude's name? Sean Levy, who is I think he's the one that's real big in Stranger Things. So he's been the director for the first two, I believe.
Okay.
But dude knows what he's doing, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a good movie regardless, but I mean, it kind of takes away from what Deadpool is. That's like one of like 3 or 4 Blu-ray physical copy like superhero movies that I own. Is the first
It's
Deadpool. It's the first Deadpool movie because
so funny. It was
you
such
know,
a fresh take.
yeah. And I remember when it came out, how much you loved it.
Mhm.
So like you get because I remember I hadn't seen it yet, and you were like, "You have not." I think I saw it for the first time with you because you were like, "You have not seen it yet," and you when we went and saw it. So,
Sounds like something I would do.
yeah, I'm like, come on, we're going out right now. Yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I mean, Disney, I think, would benefit from having like a Disney After Dark. You know,
I think so
like
too, because that way
some
you can't
Disney
get
with some
away.
more adult content. Because guess
Mhm.
what? We grew up with the digital age of Disney, and guess what? We're grown-ups now.
Yeah.
And now Disney owns all the stuff that I want. So grow up with me a little bit. You know? Just a little bit. Just say
Yeah,
Disney
well,
After
I mean,
Dark.
as you're gonna, I'll bring up later when we discuss their other show. They have such a wide range that they're capable of playing with. You know, I mean, you can literally do everything for everyone. It's impossible not to make everybody happy.
No, Kevin
Not at the
says,
same time.
yeah, that's true. It is impossible to make everybody happy. You're absolutely right. And they've got to cater to what's going to make the most money for them. I understand that. Kevin says they do now on Disney Plus. Kevin, they do what? They do have it like a Disney After Dark, like where they show.
Well,
Yeah,
like,
they do
They
have
have
it
a
now
mature
where,
rating.
yeah, because like for
oh,
instance, like
okay.
with my
Disney mature
accounts,
though, right?
yeah, like with my account, well, it's kind of like the way your account is because you can set one up for the kids, and then you can set one up for yourself. Like mine, I went through and I was like, oh, put a password on it. I'm like, okay, well, so
But
that
then
way
again,
it's probably
you don't want your kids watching Punisher if they're young. You know, I mean, like that does cover some shit that you don't really need to go discussing like
The
with
boys.
some young kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
want
it's
my girl
not the
watching The
boys.
Boys.
It's not that far, but if
I
you
mean,
don't have a password on your
it's still
Amazon
a little
account, you
rough
better.
for yeah. It's like you want to, yeah. It's like, oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
We'll see what happens with Disney and Deadpool. The thing is, though, I don't even see Deadpool being able to be like tied into this whole Marvel universe. I'm interested to see how they're going to do that. But smarter than me, they know the plan. I'm
They
just
can
gonna
do it.
watch the movie. So they've proven me wrong very recently. So I'm just gonna watch the movie.
Yeah, just go with it.
That's right.
No
Go Scout Rock.
expectations.
Really, mainly like the last thing is that. Well, no, that's not true. Sarah, you sent out that we're getting the 4th Star Trek movie.
Yeah, like I
So-
said, I came across that and I was like looking at dates. I'm like,
Yes.
is this for real? Because it's been discussed for so long,
Mhm.
and it was always about contract issues and this, that, and other. It's just like we kind of talked about. It's it's like the actors really don't know anything about it yet.
Yeah.
Nobody's really like, but it's
Greg,
like,
Sarah,
well,
you're in a movie. Get ready.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't know if it's just the fact of, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I super want it. They did give. I'm just gonna say like a tentative release date of what was it? December 22nd of next year.
Yeah, Christmas.
I know, and I'm like, okay, we'll see how that goes. But the one thing that I kind of want them to handle is Chekhov, because since Yelchin died.
Yes.
But see, and I look at it this way: since this is a completely new timeline, they can handle it to where something happened to that character. He did pass.
Right.
Something. Some kind of accident. What? Bring a new character in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have that opportunity because you're not stuck into like the prime line where everyone's like, oh my god, you can't. Because I'm like, the worst thing they could do. I just feel like for this would be to recast. I just think that was.
Right.
Because I mean, think about how many
Just
other
act
officers.
like nothing happened.
Well, case in point, like if it was in the, the same time as Voyager, maybe Ensign Kim could finally get get an upgrade, get a promotion. I mean, it's just kind of stuff like that. So, I mean,
when you talk about these movies and you say these movies, especially saying the fourth one's coming out, it really excites me. I've seen all of the no,
Yeah, this is a Kelvin timeline. Yeah, so
yeah,
this is the fourth one in the Kelvin timeline.
yeah, I've seen all of these movies multiple times. They're so rewatchable. This was what the movies that got me into Star Trek. Like I never really watched Star Trek before this. I watched the movies. I was like, I might have been missing out on something. These movies are so rewatchable. Unfortunately, the third one was the only one that I went and saw in theaters. And when I saw it in theaters, I was disappointed with it. And every time I've watched it since then, I can't for the life of me understand what I was disappointed with. Because I'm like, that was a damn good movie. What was I disappointed in? So I don't know why. I just was. But I actually watched it the other day, the third one, just because Paramount Plus suggested it. And I was like, well, why not Paramount Plus? Let's do it. So I don't know where the remote is. So I guess we're doing this.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I know
great.
that.
I mean, I think it gives the opportunity of like some really like another really cool story, but just break away some new timeline, roll with it. I mean, just get creative. I mean, just go.
If they start this movie off and they christen like a ship or a shuttle or a station or something after him, and then push on, that would be like a perfect.
I think that'll be fine.
We're here. We acknowledge it. We see what happened. We need to keep going. Let's keep going. So
I'm excited for it. I mean, of course, it sounds like just kind of rumors right now, or like
like I told you guys. I
awesome
mean, you know how much
ideas,
I love this. I mean, and I'll probably throughout production, I'm going to try to be like, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this until the final. So until I'm seated, and I'm like, I see the Paramount come across, I'm like, I'm probably not going to believe it until then.
Well, Chris Pine, like all the characters and actors, and they like playing these roles, right? I haven't heard any complaints about any actors like not enjoying these roles. So, I mean, hopefully it'll come back. We'll see.
Hopefully, just fingers crossed.
Yep. So, you have one more thing? What else?
Actually, The Boys did get renewed for season 4. We can talk about that as we watch the show. But the big thing for the week has been Netflix's Geeked Week or whatever they're calling it, where they're just sending out all their news of their stuff. And I know that, being a Sandman fan, they finally got a date for August 5th. So the show will come to Netflix in August, and you get a chance to finally see it.
Nice.
We got some trailers. I mean, they're doing like a Wednesday Addams show. They're doing Jamie Foxx has yet another movie coming out on Netflix. All sorts of stuff. So I haven't kept up with all of it because it's been a whole bunch of news. So
there's always stuff. Yeah. Like this is not news. This is, I believe, just total fan talk. But it's something that White Chocolate Espresso from the C3. He's one of the fans of the C3 Panthers podcast. I think he came here last week too. He sent this to me, and I want to share this with y'all and get y'all's thoughts on this, because when I first saw it, I was like, nah. I was like, I don't know. But then the more I looked at it, I was like, actually, the more I think about that, the more fun it would be. So let's see. Let's share this screen, and then we'll do this. Anthony Starr as Reverse Flash.
yeah, I can see it.
Like, just picture that face and then put it in that costume, like behind next to this costume right here, and think about it. Think about his attitude.
Yeah, the attitude is what I could totally see.
Yeah,
like seeing the shit that he does with Homelander, I could get it.
I think that would be a fantastic casting, but not gonna happen. I don't know. The Flash. I don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Like, that's just...
I've already said my piece of that stuff, man. That's Ezra. Come on, guy. Seriously.
Yeah.
Get your shit together, for real.
Or
so
y'all shit, or their shit, or they shit. I don't know how you say it.
So Panther Pickle says he's not that interested in the Kelvin timeline. Interesting, but you're Panther Pickle. You're an OG like Star Trek fan, as far as I understand it. So I can understand that you have a lot of background knowledge and stuff to go off of. So I can get that.
Oh yeah, I mean, hey, I totally respect that. I just feel like, because I mean, like I'm like any Star Trek, I'm all about. I mean, it's giving anything and everything, and I just think it's kind of cool just to have the opportunity to, you can explore new storylines, you can throw in new characters. That's just kind of how I look at it. So
they had a Kurtzman on the Paramount Plus show, the after show they do for all the Star Trek stuff with Will Wheaton, and dude, he talked for like a solid like 40 minutes about all the different shows, everything that he's got has his hands in, and I mean it is overwhelming now to think about how much Star Trek has been coming as fast as it has been coming at us at this exact moment. You know, we talk about how Marvel and Star Wars are nonstop on Disney Plus, but Star Trek has been they've been riding a train here recently, and it's once again just like all the Marvel and Star Wars stuff. Like it's not going to be for everybody.
Well, like I said, I think one of I'm thinking that maybe one of the reasons why it's gaining popularity and that kind of thing is like Discovery and Picard was every episode was connected. Like it was a continuation of just one story. So I think that's something that a lot of people probably like. Hey, this is pretty cool. I probably know a little bit of the characters, a little bit, of this, or even with Discovery, learning something new because. Odds are, if you ask anybody about Star Trek, 9 times out of 10, I don't know who Kirk and Spock are. Because that's pretty much. It's almost like it's just culture unto itself. Pop culture unto itself. So, but now you're like I said, you're getting to like the episodic stuff with Strange New Worlds, and it's a different little turn because, like I said, that's kind of previously what was done before.
Right.
So if you have kind of like that both, I think that's kind of a good mix.
Right. Well, it's kind of a combination of all. I think it's a spectrum. Everything they've come out with is like across a wide spectrum for a big age range. They've come out with stuff that can, if you're 8 or 9 years old, you'll like all the way up to people our age, or even older. Like so they're appealing to a very broad crowd, and they have come out with a lot. Like just since I've gotten into the Kelvin timeline, I've started watching the older movies. I've gotten into Discovery. I've gotten into Lower Decks. I've gotten into Strange New Worlds. What was the other animated show? That we watched Prodigy. Yeah, like that right there's 5 different things with multiple seasons that I've been taking
different.
in. Yeah.
It's like different types of things.
Exactly. And they're all different. They can all appeal to all kinds of so it's like they're doing like a shotgun spread. Like some people are gonna like this, and people are gonna like this, and people are gonna like this. And as long as enough people like each one, then it works.
Yeah, open it up so it's not like one continuous. It's like, okay, we have this one formula, this is what we're gonna stick with. Okay, hey. Let's try it. Let's take characters and do this and other. Yeah, let's get creative with it.
And for the most part, Star Trek's done the best with time travel that I've seen of most franchises so far, with the exception of some stuff in Picard, which is another one that I didn't mention. Picard. I guess that's 6 shows. With the exception of stuff in Picard, and it wasn't even the concept of time travel; it was the concept of butterflies in Picard. Because man, they just totally. Effed everything in that show. It's like, well, okay.
Oh man,
0 F's left. But so Panther Pickle says he's not against the Kelvin time. I get that. It's just not your cup of tea.
Yeah, I mean that's totally cool, dude. I mean, yeah.
I liked it because it made it current. But I mean that's what I wanted out of Star Trek. Now we're finally getting it. But I grew up with was TNG, Deep Space, Voyager, and although they each kind of started to push it more and more and more, it didn't feel like until we reached the Kelvin timeline that it was in your face that you were finally like in a world of Star Trek that was, to me, more technologically advanced. And I appreciated that. Even though they had barcode scanners right there on the on the helmsman stations.
Yeah. Well, while we're in the Star Trek universe here, why don't we just go ahead and start talking about Strange New Worlds? Did y'all have anything else you wanted to cover news-wise or announcements or snippets, rumors? Nothing?
Nope.
Let's just talk about Strange New Worlds then. I hadn't seen the episode until just now. I watched it when I got home from work today, and you guys were talking the other day about the Johnny Bravo with the hair. And it is, man, right when you open up, dude, that hair is just bam right out there. And Ross, I'm not gonna lie, man, it kind of reminded me of your hair.
Keep it classy, San Diego.
In high school. So yours wasn't. Ross's wasn't nearly that tall. No, look, I did too. Everybody, that was the style back then, man, with the flipped up bangs in the front, and the frosted tips and all that stuff. So I'm just saying. That was
a little older than you guys are.
Yeah. So, but yeah, his hair is really, really on point in this one. And I mean, hey, man, a little brown chicken, brown cow for him in this episode. So go get it, Pike. What y'all think? I liked this episode a lot better than last week's. Like I said, I kind of considered last week's a filler episode. Y'all said that was typical Star Trek, which is cool. Maybe that's just the part of Star Trek I don't like. I like this week's episode. It was cool. Kind of kept me on my toes, even though I knew there was something going on. I was like, there's something in here. I even written down Starr.
Yeah.
You remembered right here. There's something going on.
They kept you right there on knowing that it wasn't what you were trying to be told that it was, but they did a good job of not revealing it till the end, even though you knew it had to be something dark, right? Like the problem with the episode had to be something dark, or else why would they do so much to keep, to keep running you around in circles? And I think that they start this thing off with a small ship battle that made no sense. The person when they beam them aboard, right off the bat,
something was kind of
but at the same time, look, like as I say to like some people sometimes, like the balls of this dude, the balls of that ship to turn around and just be like, whoop, boop, 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 boop. Like, I mean, like you're facing the Enterprise, like you're bringing a knife to a bazooka fight, and when you're sitting there watching it, like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why are they doing that? And then you keep moving on. And in each step of this episode, they do the same thing. Like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why are they doing that? And then it slowly starts to all, reconvene. And they add in the whole love twist of Laura and Pike, and you're left to try to figure out what's really going on.
Yeah. Oh, he sprung right away from the second you see for the first moment. It's like, oh gosh, like he sprung right away. Like that guy, you can tell this is something from the past. I'm like, all right, I hope they tell us this storyline. They don't just kind of dangle it around. And we got it. He got it too. Yeah, he did. Yeah. He definitely got it. What'd you think, Sarah?
Well, from what I can remember, because I watched it late the other night. Yeah. So I might have not watched the whole thing, but it was. I think the one thing I was just like, this little piece of the Trek, I'm like, they're getting a little racy, showing a little bit more skin these days. I'm like, I'm not complaining. I mean, you've seen a little bit more Spock, see a little bit more Pike. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, we're kind of going a new direction here. But I mean, when I saw the first little, I don't know, maybe it just brought up my radar. I'm like, yeah, there's something strange things are afoot right now, because it's not everything is what it seems. Mm-hmm. So but like I said, that's the kind of Trek I like. Yeah. It's always some sketchy shit going on.
Oh yeah. Well, at the beginning of all these shows, they always have the recaps, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, the recaps are always like, it's crazy. They pick random clips, and it's like, okay, this clip has something to do with something in this episode. And when it ends, like the last clip is on the Doctor, and I'm like, okay, we haven't had a focus piece on the Doctor, like an episode. We had a little part with it, with he was kind of a side story to a nut piece earlier. But we haven't had like a focus piece in them, and he wasn't really a focus piece in this one either. But I was like, okay, it's gonna have something to do with that, and obviously you get a little more storyline with him and the daughter, and we found a cure or solution, at least it seems.
I did kind of piece that one together. I did piece that together. So
I found it funny how you have such a. We'll break into the what actually happened in the episode. This culture of people sacrifice kids, or a kid every so often, to actually keep their way of life going forward. But what I find really funny is that, they do, it's what you're led to believe. It's such a horrible act to save the millions. And that's what Star Trek is all about, the needs of the many, few, blah, blah. But they're so technologically advanced that there are no diseases in this world. And so many people are unhappy with that they break away and create their own colony on another planet. But they're so technologically advanced. I mean, like, to a point to where it's like, why doesn't the rest of the universe know about this?
Right.
Because, like, I mean, not to get real, but, like, in a world where kids see some really evil means, if it were to create that kind of planet, I mean, I feel like this world would have no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, many times over.
I mean, you're being real. Anybody you ask to go to war for you, you're virtually asking to sacrifice for the greater
Yes.
good. So it's not like sacrificing people for the greater good. It's something we just dress it up as a different term to make it a little more palatable for people. But the realistic thing is that's what you're doing. I mean, Ross, you served, I've served. It's you're willing to sacrifice for what you have to do to make the, for whatever cause you're fighting for. So that's not real. It's just when you make it the kid, it makes it a little more different. Now they did in this one at
And
least
you see
make
what
it.
happens to the kid.
Yeah, oh yeah, it looks like it sucks, but they did at least make it where it was voluntary for the kid in this. Like the kid felt like this was the right thing to do. Now I don't necessarily believe that kids that age have the right, or not the
Yeah.
right, but the brain
The
capacity
right
to make
mind.
decisions like
Yeah.
that. But it would have been a better story than him going and kicking and screaming. I feel,
Just the fact that it, like, that act helped continue the way of life for such a it felt like it was there was a string connecting two storylines, and one was this wonderful, fantastic world that you'd love to exist and be a part of, and then the other one was like the evil deed that needed to take place in order for that to happen.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, they did a really good job, because at the same time, like, at the very basics of it all, I was sitting there thinking the same thing of, wow, is it worth it? When does it not become worth it?
Right.
Like, what do we gain out of it? I mean, like, and I did not find myself on the side of the fence where I was like, don't sacrifice the kids. Like,
yeah,
sacrifice the kid.
Well, and even look at it like this. There's the connection with Pike too, where Pike knows that he's going to sacrifice himself one day to save people. Like I said, it makes me sound like an asshole, and I hate to be so crass about it, I guess what I say, but how is that different?
Yeah.
Anytime you ask anybody to sacrifice a life for the greater good, how is that any different? And it's done all the time. It's just, like I said, fed to you on a different platter, with a different seasoning. So it's more palatable for you, and you just accept it. So, but yeah, it was very interesting. I mean, I didn't think up until that point, though, in this show that was the ascension. I thought he was just going to be like King. Like the whole time, I'm like, oh, he's just gonna be like King. And for some reason, this is a political thing, and they don't want him to be king, until it gets to the end. And I was like, oh, well, maybe it's not.
Yeah, when you use the word like ascension, my mind was going there, but at the same time, I'm like, nope, not gonna go full negative yet. Just gonna write it out and see what happens. But then you see little alien,
yeah,
you see little alien baby with all his nutrients, fucking sucked out of him, and you're like, yep, they're killing him. Slowly.
So Pike spills the beans to the minister. I can't remember her name. I wrote it down. Minister Laura in this one.
No problem.
Yeah, I guess you just get his pants off and he'll just tell you anything. Right?
I guess so. I mean, I'm telling you, like, he was running through a field of flowers and hearing like all sorts of love music playing as soon as he saw her.
Yeah. And what was funny too is when he gets back to the ship, and it's like one of those moments where he gets back and it's like, hey, you're sleeping with the enemy, dude. What's good? I mean, nobody knows at that point. I guess they're sleeping together, but I guess in his mind, he's realizing, he's like, oh shit, what did I do? Oh no, I messed up. He didn't tell anybody though.
No, it was very strange that he was able to come out forthright with her right off the bat. You're right. And I mean, that's why I was making the joke about the hair, because I'm like, the man knows he's going to die. Like, radiation sickness is going to, deplete that hair right off the bat. But man, oh man, like he had 0.25 seconds of like, should I? Nope, I'm going to tell her. I'm going to die in 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. Yeah. You don't play that one close to the chest at all.
I'll say on this one, the doctor and his daughter, when we first heard the storyline, I was like, okay, background storyline. This is this doctor story. It's not really that big of a deal to me. I care more about it now. They've done a good job of making me care more about it. Now I'm like, oh man, I hope he gets his daughter back. Like, not that I didn't want to be his daughter back before, but now it would have been like, now before I was like, if it doesn't happen, it happens, it happens. It's a television show. But now I actually want it to happen.
We
so.
lost one kid. We can't lose another. Come
Right.
on, Bango. You got this.
But it is cool to see at the end of it that he does have kind of a path leading him that way. So we'll see what happens there. And Panther Pickle says, no Star Trek man gets laid like Captain Kirk. I don't know, man. Spock.
Maybe
Like,
in this show.
Yeah, in this show. That's true. Yeah, I forgot. This is my only experience.
It's only logical to breed for procreation.
But yeah, man, I'm enjoying it. Like I said, I thought last week's was a little bit of a filler. It just, I don't know. I needed a little more action, or it didn't make me think enough. Like, didn't keep me interested enough, I guess. So this week kind of did it for me again. I'm not worried about this show. I'm enjoying it a lot so far. How many episodes do we have left? This was 6?
4.
So we have 4 episodes, 10. Okay, so we're not quite there yet, but 4 more weeks. Not too bad. I'm excited. I'm liking it. Thanks for introducing me to Star Trek, y'all. Like, I never heard of it at all until I got on the show. I was like, Star Trek, what is that?
It's the Chinese version of Star Wars.
Did y'all have anything else you want to say about the episode?
No, I thought the kid was smart. I thought that made it even harder for the whole thing to happen. You know,
Well, you
show
throw
him
in
to
those
be a
like little
genius.
moral dilemmas of like, do I do this? What's, like I said, what's for the greater good versus that kind of thing. So that's always been kind of like the underlying theme.
I think that was the other thing that made me feel a little better about this kid being more with it. Like, this kid didn't seem like he was in the realm of a normal child's age or like thinking mindset at that age. He was on Spock's level of thinking. I was like, maybe he is capable of contemplating what he's doing, but I don't know. No. Like the show. Ross, you saw Top Gun.
I did.
You did. Thoughts? Yay, nay? Liked it?
It was a good movie. I understand why it blew up for a lot of people. I mean, nostalgia wise, you have everything there that's necessary. The interconnection of Penny, as I was watching it, I started to try to piece it together. Let me get my qualms out of the way.
Do it.
My biggest problem with the movie, once again, was like its military aspect. First off, a fucking full board colonel, as they call them in the Navy, and with their sea legs, they call them captains, shows up to his superiors at where he was summoned to be for his next duty in fucking civilian clothes. On a motorcycle in California with no helmet on in the military, and he's riding a motorcycle. I'm like, I can't get over all these things because it's been pounded into my head countless times. You have to wear the fucking reflective vest if you're going to be on a motorcycle, full face helmet, ankle covered shoes, full length arm stuff, and like all that stuff's like just pounded into your head. And here you have a full bird just, I do what I want.
Well, it's funny that they ignore that part of like decorum. And
that's the nostalgia part of it.
I guess so, but it's just funny they ignore that part and they go so in depth with like going through the training for the flights and everything else. It's like, well, okay, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I personally didn't really notice that, but yeah,
it only ripped me out of it because I'm like, I feel like you would advance with the times. Like, I understand that's nostalgia, I get it, and I feel like you should make it a reason to do the nostalgia thing after you acknowledge how stupid the shit that we have to deal with right now is, or we had to deal with when I was in, like, had to deal with at that point in time. Like, look, if you ever, God, I remember coming in on like, it was like a Thursday or Friday. I had the day off, had to come in and finish up some computer work to actually get paid for like a trip that I went on. And so I come into my squadron, I sit down on the computer, and I start going to work, typing up all my shit, scanning all my receipts. All of a sudden, I'm there and I get called to someone's office, and I'm like, well, I'm in my fucking, my dress best here. Like I'm just hanging out with some shorts on and some other shit. And I had to like go down and see somebody. Like, since you're here, come in. I'm like, I go into the office. Get out of my office! Not even in uniform. I'm like, I'm not even on duty.
Right. Right.
Like, what is this?
Well, another way you can look at it too is the kind of like with Maverick's blatant
Disregard
of everything.
Yeah.
Well,
that's kind of like solidifying that as well. I mean, after 30 some years and all he's a captain. I mean, for real.
Yeah.
It would have been hilarious if they would have had that scene. You have the music and he pulls up with the motorcycle and he's in the civvies and he walks in and he knocks on the commander's door and the commander opens the door and he walks in the civvies and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing in here like this?" And he gets him and he makes him go out and then it just does a real quick fade away, comes back to him in like full class A's, comes, so that's funny.
I was getting lost in that stuff because I'm like, oh man, he would not survive in today's world. Like, because I totally relate to the character. When you have something that you believe that you are great at and you have a calling for, there shouldn't be so much red tape to get in your way to progress even further into that and be really good at something, because that's what forces so many people to be mediocre at a bunch of things because they don't get a chance to be fan fucking tastic at one thing. And so he was in that fantastic moment of his life doing the test flights and pushing the bar, and I really liked how they kept on showing him do that. But the whole point of him going back to Top Gun was to to perform and teach an unsurvivable mission.
Right.
And you can't put a no-win scenario like that in front of somebody. Yeah. And so I found the directing good. I found the cinematography good. I found the air-to-air combat good. The idea of how they're going to turn around and escape there after being shot down, good. Like, I bought all of it in a movie setting completely. Like, I was like, I'm entertained. Like, it's good. Mm-hmm. The only other thing that wasn't fantastic, or I didn't really care a whole lot for, is that as Tom Cruise gets a lot of popularity and fame from the simple fact that he can just smile and like chuckle.
Right.
Don't do that. Don't make that face. I don't want to see that face. And that's what he does. And I'm like, he's done it his whole career. So, I mean,
that's the charm. That's the charm of Tom Cruise.
Yeah, put your money on those pearly whites, and you get to see him.
Good.
No matter the fact that he's crazy as hell, but it's fine.
Good-looking people always have an advantage in life. I don't care what anybody says; they always have an advantage in life. Period. It's just the way it is. All right, there we go. Yeah, mic drop. Don't know it. Always have an advantage in life. That's it. Damn. So, So I know that last week we were talking about it. You hadn't seen it yet, and we were talking about how it didn't tell the same story. It told a different story, but it did wrap up some loose ends. It did have a nice connective tissue with the old story, to where you feel like it's the same story, but it's a different story as well. Did you like that? Like, did you kind of get that same feeling from it, or did you feel like you were kind of stuck in Top Gun?
The fact that they had the mission that they had, and they really did focus a good part of the movie on that, was really good. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it felt like Top Gun all over again. Yeah, it was, you get all the same beats, and I will watch the movie again at some point, but like, I have lived with the original Top Gun for so long in my life that it was I don't want to say it was a redo. I don't know a good way to say it without making it sound like it's condescending, because I'm not trying to be condescending with it.
Spit it out, Ross. Just spit it out.
It was Top Gun 2. I mean, like, it was Top Gun 1.5. Yeah. And I have no problem with that. It was a well-made movie. I don't want anyone to think that like any different. Like if you haven't seen it, go see it. I knew I was going to see it, I just didn't know when. And I everything that I have a problem with is all with me, and I just like having fun humor with it on those levels. But I mean, it was really Top Gun. Like they had the Top Gun vibe into it. They could have just called it Top Gun 2, nothing else, no Maverick, no nothing, and I would have been like, yeah, that's what it was. It was Top Gun 2.
Oh yeah. What did you think about Val Kilmer and his scene and exit? Done pretty gracefully, I thought.
Appreciate that they did that for and with him. Mm-hmm. There's no way in hell he would have been a admiral of such a large AOR with that kind of sickness, even the first time around.
Right.
So for the sickness to kind of come back up, I was like, yeah, they would have pulled him the first time. But that's just reality. That's too much reality. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, for the movie, I thought it was really good. I don't know. Like Val Kilmer has been a real, you know, he's definitely been, he has come back into pop culture because of everything he's given to pop culture, and he is at a point in his life to where he doesn't know what's going to happen, and so I thought that it was really well done. It was the most acting that you got out of Tom Cruise this whole movie, because it was Tom Cruise acting against himself, because he had to make that happen. And you did feel the emotional vibe whenever Val Kilmer was actually speaking to him. And you're like, you know, when he says, remind me who was number one again, or whatever he said. And I'm just like, I don't know if that was ad-libbed or not. Like, I feel like that could have been ad-libbed.
I felt like it might have been too. It's a good moment. Yeah. No, it felt genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good thing about it.
I felt that whole scene though. I felt that whole scene. I totally felt like where Maverick's character was coming from.
Yeah. But that's why I say I felt like that was the time where he was truly acting in that movie, and it was, you know, you dared to say monologue because he is spitballing off of sentences that are just basically thrown up on a screen, but it was interesting.
Yeah. Did you like Rooster?
I did. Because I didn't know what the problem was between the two of them. And then when you figure out that, you know, all that Maverick was trying to do was fulfill a promise to his mom, to Brewster's mom, you know, you're like, well, fuck, like, I get it. Like, I would have done it. You know, I mean,
he's just misguided. The promise was to protect him, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she didn't want him to fly.
She didn't want him to fly. Okay, so I couldn't remember that. So it was specifically not to fly.
Yeah,
and he didn't want to tell it was his mom's because he didn't want to sully his mom's image in his mind.
Yeah, he's like, I can handle him resenting me. I just can't handle him resenting, you know, his mom too.
Yeah, especially when the dad's gone, and the dad's gone partially because of Maverick. Not that.
Yeah,
it's only partially because, you know, boy, you get it.
Mm-hmm.
Technicality, right?
Yeah.
It's so funny. This is completely random, and this is going to be a squirrel right here. But I heard a story today on the radio, and when we're talking about technicalities. There's a girl who got an STD from her boyfriend because they had sex in his car, and she sued Geico and won $5.4 million because she got an STD while she was in the car.
Was the $5.4 million 15% of the total? Or more?
I sorry. I know. How would you come to that determination? That's
totally random. Yeah, totally random. But when you said it like that, I just thought, man, that is crazy. Like coincidence like that. But yeah, $5.4 million sued Geico because she got an STD while in the vehicle. And they were talking about, they had a lawyer call in, and he was like, yeah, it's funny. He says if say somebody jumped on your car and like stomped on your hood and then like smashed your window in with their heel and then like cut themselves or hurt their heel, like when they did it, like technically it's on the insurance company and they can sue. But if the insurance company can prove that he was doing something negligent, like kicking the windshield, to do that, then they're off the hook. But if they don't prove it, like if they don't go through the trouble of proving it didn't happen, then they're on the hook for it, you know? And that was what happened in this case, was she called and said she wanted to press charges about this, and they told her to go, you know, kick rocks. And
You're
just
crazy.
and just never, you know, looked into it. So, and I was like, wow, that's pretty nuts.
I learned something early on in life, and pardon my non-use of French, but you don't stick your dick in crazy. And so
This is true.
that's Geico's fault for insuring the idiot who stuck his dick in crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's Geico's fault, and they're paying for it. So, I mean, and you know, it's like I wanna feel bad for Geico, but at the same time, I don't, because like I give my insurance company a shit ton of money and don't ever see it in return. I
You
want to
know what
break
Geico
something.
stands for, right?
No.
Government Employees Insurance Company.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Did you not know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Oh, that's
I
where
thought it
they
was a
stem
type
from.
of lizard. I didn't.
That's a gecko.
I really didn't know. I was like, okay, good. Well, okay.
It's like I remember seeing that at some point. It was like a fine line or like of something or whatever. And I was like, oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, either way, it's like I said, I kind of want to feel sorry for him, but like I said, I give so much money to insurance, and I feel like I don't get it back. I just want to break something sometimes on purpose to file a claim, and feel like I get my money back. But
No, it's just like you can hire someone to come do some work at your house, and you know if they're not insured well enough, then they can turn around and sue your homeowner's insurance. But anyway, I mean that's wait for the fucking
America.
squirrel to sue us for chasing his ass.
for giving tips to people.
Hmm.
Where were we? We were Strange New Worlds, right?
We did
Top
Top
Gun.
Gun.
Well, we were Top Gun. So, damn, we already got past Strange New Worlds. Top Gun. Goodness gracious, where am I at?
You're an hour
Yes,
in.
Top
It's
Gun.
okay. Breathe.
Yeah, I ran out of drink. So Top Gun.
Go
We
get
talked
more,
about
we'll start on
Rooster.
the
We talked
boys.
about Val Kilmer, huh?
So go get more. We'll start on the boys.
Oh no, I'm good. I got water here. But we can go ahead and start on the boys. I'm there for that.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything left in Top Gun. They did something cool. They survived. Some of them almost didn't survive. Then they did survive. And another picture was taken and it was put on the wall.
No.
Boom. Top Gun.
Boom. Top Gun. Maverick. All right. So the boys.
I'm not robbing it, Sarah. It was a good movie. I'm not robbing it.
No, I'm talking about our next segment.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so first 3 episodes came out last week. Sarah hadn't seen it, so we did a little talk about it, but not really a dive. We'll do some talk about some scenes and dive into it right here. Episode 4 comes out today. Fully planned on watching it when I got off work, but Ross, you sent me a message this morning saying it wasn't coming out till 8 p.m. And I was like, well, shit, I'm not going to be able to see it. So I didn't even check it until right at 8 p.m. And I was like, well, I could try to squeeze it in before the show, but I don't feel like pressuring myself like that. So I have not seen episode 4 yet. Either one of y'all?
I got about 15, 20 minutes into it.
Okay.
And then my kid wouldn't leave me alone. So I'm like, screw it.
You wanted to see what the hashtag Homelight was about, didn't you?
Oh, I know
that was going to be
about.
my opener last week, and y'all hadn't seen it yet. And I was like, oh, I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, I know what it
Hashtag
is.
what?
I know what it
Hashtag
is. I'm like.
So you got 15 minutes in?
Mhm.
I'm sure, as usual, pretty good.
Traumatizing as hell.
Oh,
I'm
traumatized.
like,
Okay, I got you. That was a damn the boys face, like not like damn the boys.
I mean, story wise, I'm loving it. It's just some of the visuals. I'm like, this shit is just depravity at its finest. And I'm like, sometimes I just like Huey says, he's like, what the fuck? I mean, you know, it's like, oh my God, really?
Yeah.
This show takes a sledgehammer to your retina and you feel it all the way down to your tank. It's amazing. I don't know how they do it.
I mean, it's like
fucking
everything
weird.
tenses. You're just like,
Yes.
And deep. That dude. I hated him from the get-go. That is one character I can honestly say I do not like that guy.
I think you're supposed to hate him though. It's kind of like you're supposed to hate him in a different kind of way.
I mean, Homelander has his issues, yeah, because he's like just totally. But the deep, I'm like, ew. It's just like, oh my God, it's just so damn cringy.
Yeah.
The story wise, I'm liking the story. I mean, I think it's fantastic. I think it's just as great as like the first 2 seasons.
Yeah. Okay, so there's two scenes that I had to I just couldn't watch happen. Like I kind of peek at it when it's happening, and one of them's kind of funny. I don't even know why I couldn't do it. Just like I don't know, couldn't watch it. I knew it was about to happen, and I've seen stuff like that. But I guess if know it's coming, I didn't want to see it. And I guess it was when Huey broke his arm. Like when they snapped his arm, I couldn't physically watch them do that, like break his arm. I was like, oh, I can't.
I could watch that all day long from some of the other shit.
Yeah, well, and that's why it's so crazy. That's why in my mind it's so weird that I can watch some of this other shit, and that bothered me, and this stuff doesn't really. I mean, not that it doesn't bother me, but I could at least watch it. The other one was the Timothy scene. That was hard to watch, man. Like not even because like you're thinking about it. This octopus is talking to him as he's eating them.
It's so gross.
It's so gross to watch. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what I'm like. Can somebody just pop his head, because I'm over this guy.
Yeah. Well, Ross, you put it perfectly when I was talking to you about the Timothy scene the other day, about the all the double entendres and everything that had to do with.
Oh, you asked me what I said because I don't remember what I said.
Oh, I've got it written. Wait, I said something. Wait,
Like I've heard.
Yeah, I say a bunch of shit. Half the time, I barely pay attention to my own self.
Yeah. Sometimes I just start a sentence and I don't even know where I'm going. I just
I see what happens.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I get tired and I'm like, and period. Yeah. The scene was crazy. I mean, like, dude, for those at home, this scene I do feel has truly affected Greg on a personal and deep level. You have held on to it and you keep talking about it, and I'm like I get you. Like watching this, like they did a good job building it up. They kept on putting all of the little pieces together in order to make you feel the most uncomfortable that you could when they put it on the screen.
Yeah,
because he is literally banging his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Like right there in front, right there under the aquarium, because it's deep, and of course he has an aquarium right there. He's only missing his little dolphin friend.
Mm-hmm.
And as he's doing it, this octopus just comes up on the screen. It's like, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, get it. And then he's just sitting there like I fucking the shit out of this octopus the whole entire time. He's banging his wife, and you're just like, it's so many levels of wrong.
Oh yeah,
so many. And then they turn around and make him eat them
live, the whole thing in one bite. I was like, oh,
yep. Sashimi.
Ross, you said the double entendre of pussy, and then his name being Timothy, and the sex scene beforehand were just too much collectively. It was funny, but there's some twisted individuals. And I was like, yep, that's perfectly put. Perfectly put. Yeah.
I mean, this show is full of twisted writing, and look, it works. It works in such a wrong way, but it works. And when you have another grown man throw up as another grown man is talking to him with his mouth open, and you're just like,
you have a problem with that?
Not again. No, all I'm saying is like that's
how
like
they open up the first.
That's like mediocre for them,
Oh.
and then they turn around and do this other shit.
You're talking about the termites.
I'd rather have somebody throw up in my face. I mean, honestly, this.
Then what? Blow up in your dick?
Or either just go up somebody's dick. That's gross. How could you even? Oh my god.
Oh, be careful how deep down the internet you go, because there's some shit out there that's
yeah. There's
that's
something
why
for,
it's down
there's
there.
something for everybody.
Oh
wow. Something for everybody. So this Nadia character, we saw her at the end of the last season. We got the hints that she was coming in. It's the one who I thought it was just she could blow up heads, but it looks like it's wherever she focuses her eyes on. She kind of has like a power to I don't know what you would call
explode, whatever.
She's got like Professor X, like
it's like exploding, but it's like crushing it. You know, it's weird, but. We got her a little bit at the end of the last season. She's a big part of this season, and we find out about the Red River place she came from, which is like, I guess, an orphanage run by the government, it looks like, of superpowered beings. Mm-hmm. You know, it was crazy to see that and to think about that, and how I love how this show tackles how realistic a lot of things would be if this was real. Like, if kids were born with superpowers and they couldn't control them, guess what? This would probably happen. Mm-hmm. You know, all the deaths of parents and everything of kids who couldn't control their powers, didn't even know they had them. Parents didn't know they had them, and their heads blown off. It's like, wow, that's insane how that worked out.
Well, like you just said, with all of the different, because you have to think about if there are superpowered beings on a spectrum of like Homelander to, someone who can blow real hard and clean the leaves out of their yard. They have to exist everywhere.
Mhm.
I mean, this country thrives on stupid shit like America's Got Talent and all these other things.
Mass Singer.
There you go. And so here you have, Starlight comes from the Christian, whatever you want to call the. What do you call that when they put kids on parade for winning awards and shit like that?
Pageant?
But pageant,
Maybe?
sure, we'll start
Yeah.
there. Any of like that type of shit, and like they grow up in every single facet of life as you know it, and Vought is so sick and twisted that they have their hands in like everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very interesting to see just how many levels of that actually it would exist. And they address quite a bit of it. They don't do it like, they don't make it a point to like slam your head into it. They just do a good job of being like, now if you cut back to a scene like this, someone like this could have grown up in an orphanage for power people. And, what do you do with that? Because that little creepy kid who teleported was creepy.
Yeah.
Stop teleporting. Stop teleporting.
Yeah, that was pretty damn creepy. I mean, like you said, we have stupid stuff in America. They had the American Hero show on this one.
Yeah,
I thought that was
weird
interesting.
shit too.
Yeah, and that introduces this new character, Supersonic, who this guy's gonna die, right? Obviously, because Starlight fought so hard to get him off, to have him not be on the team, and the fact that she has a connection to him, he's definitely going to die. And I'm assuming he's probably going to die doing something saving her, or to save other people. So,
or some like Homelander's gonna make her kill him. I don't know. There's some
or
weird shit
kill
going
him
on,
right in
man.
front of her. Yeah, that is some weird shit going on with Homelander. Let me tell you. And that's the other thing about this is like, okay, so like, what do you do when you have one thing on somebody you're controlling them with, and then all of a sudden that doesn't work anymore? Like, what the fuck do you do? Like, Homelander had 0 Fs left to give.
Mm-hmm.
He does not care.
He's realized that he can go full. I mean, he's going full MAGA. I mean, like he's just like, I'm gonna tell you how it is and how we should all see it, and then fuck you if you don't believe me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, man, do they ever let Homelander just run wild?
Oh yeah. Well, there's scenes like in the first like 2 episodes where I think in the second episode is where he finally does snap at his birthday party. But like you can see like, oh man, he's about to do it. He's about to lose it. Like there's no way he keeps his cool throughout this season. Like he's already about to fucking explode. Do we think that Stormfront was a suicide, or do we think she was killed?
I believe it's suicide.
Think so? Because I seem to have this background thing like in my mind right now that they're trying to write Homelander out of the story. I kind of look at this as like the Vault's controlling the soups is like WWE, and they're kind of trying to write him out of the story, and getting rid of her would be maybe a good way to do that. But she does die in this, but not before we get to see him give her a visit.
Mm-hmm.
You're very so handsome.
Very, very interesting visit. Like
I'm telling you, she's straight up Anakin out on that bed.
Yeah.
She had one hand.
She knows what to do with it.
One hand.
Yeah.
One eyeball and a mouth. Like I don't know what else existed on that woman. I don't care. I'm not trying to get that crazy. But she was sitting there the whole time, the Fourth Reich, the Fourth Reich, the Fourth Reich. I'm like, bitch, let it go. Like, I don't know if you could see yourself right now, but they should put a mirror above your bed, and not for the good reasons, for the bad ones.
Yeah. It did surprise me with their death, though. Like, I thought that them bringing that character back, at least in this scene, I was like, oh, well, the character's not dead. Maybe we'll see a reappearance of the character. But no.
The fact that she bit her tongue and died, it was too much.
Is that what they said it was? She bit her tongue and died? Ah.
Yeah. She bled out.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, I guess that's one way to do it.
Yeah. And the whole time he's sitting there trying to talk someone off of a cliff, metaphorical cliff, a ledge. And then he's just like, fuck it, I don't care, jump. Yeah, now you have to jump because now I don't care.
We didn't actually see, but I'm sure he forced her off. Like he had to.
Yeah.
Because that was his birthday save. You get to be my birthday save.
You got to be her birthday kid.
What you think about A-Train with his docu-series and his video game?
Oh my
Changing
god.
his uniform up. I was like, okay, cool.
He's trying. He's
He,
trying.
he's definitely trying. Yeah.
He's trying to stay relevant. He's trying to stay relevant. He's supposed to be the fastest man. Yeah, he's like, I can't run. I can't do. I'm like, okay, then.
The talk he had with his brother that was a real feeling part of the show. Where you
The
really
best that you're right, Ross. And the best part about this show is kind of like South Park in a way, where they pick on real world stuff, or at least talk about and discuss real world stuff, and they point out on both sides how ridiculous some things can be.
Mm-hmm.
On both sides of it, they do, you know. When I watch it, I'm like, huh, that's funny. Like later on, when you see Gunpowder, who's a guy who is one of these guys who's gun control. Like that's the kind of guy that maybe I don't necessarily want supporting me as a gun supporter, just because of how like don't have to tone it down a little bit, So they show that kind of side of it, and then like I just like that. Like I said, it reminds me kind of South Park, where they're like, we see this and we see this and we see this. Do you see how stupid this is and stupid this is and stupid this is? Like, I love that about the show.
Let's talk about it, because when we talk about it, it becomes stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. But let's talk about Gunpowder. So they bring in these new characters, and I guess Soldier Boy, and what's the name of the team?
Payback.
Yeah, something like that. Payback. Yeah, it's a team of superheroes, and I guess before there were competing teams of superheroes before the Seven took over as the number one team, and this was the team before that. And I guess Soldier Boy was like the Homelander. He was the indestructible, couldn't be killed, and somehow he's been killed. So we know there's a way to kill him, and I guess that's the mission of this. Going to be this season now that we see moving forward is trying to figure out a way to kill Homelander. The tie-in with Grace is awesome. I love how they tie this all back together, because now you're like, oh, really? Like as soon as you heard that name, I was like, okay, I only know one Grace in the show. Seemed pretty significant. Had some music. It's got to be her.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that they even go to the background and show you exactly what happened, but you still don't know what happened. And they tie it back in really well, because the whole time I'm watching this and I'm seeing this Frenchie story with this Russian chick, I'm like, why are we seeing this? Like, how is this relevant? What does this do? And then it ties back in at the end, where they show that he was killed and taken to Russia. And they don't know what happened with them after that. So now we at least have an objective. We have a waypoint. We know where we're going. And I was like, okay, cool. I like how they tie that in, because the stuff that was going on with Frenchie, I was just like, I mean, it's somewhat interesting, but I don't really know how it's relevant to anything going on. At least with the mother's milk stuff, I know what's going on now. At least Soldier Boy killed his family.
I think the Frenchie thing is always weird, because in each season it feels like he kind of goes off on his own path, far enough to still be relevant to the main story.
Right.
And I think that's good, because like that's the thing about all these people, is that they all are coming together for the collective goal, but at the same time, like they got their lives and they got their shit they're dealing with, and they have traveled and lived. So here they want to turn around and they essentially want to help Butcher, because Butcher wants to get rid of Homelander, and they all think that Homelander is the Antichrist of our time. So when you have all of these things play in such a way that it's a homage to great writing, you want to be able to put all of the pieces on the board, and they unveiled the first 3 episodes, bam, 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 right off the same day. Put all the pieces on the board, and then like let's turn it into a match and see what happens. Because at the end, by the time you reach episode 10, I think is what this show's going for. Actually, I feel like it's shorter than that. Either way, you want to make sure that there are 2 pieces, and that they are gonna. Who knows what's going to happen? And we keep doing that with every season, but yet they do a good job of keeping us back. Last week I said that I had finished Stranger Things, and I thought that it was a fantastic story, and they do a great job of keeping the story relevant. The Boys keeps doing the same thing too. Even with all of the antics and the craziness and the throw up and the dick explosions, they keep telling a story. Huey keeps feeling like the same kind of person. He's growing, but he's doing it at a rate that's like he's still Huey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's now open and dating Starlight. He is in the light of the world. People are noticing him. He has a job with the CIA as a face in a suit in an office.
He's making a difference, or at least he feels like he
Right.
is. Yeah.
And then now, 3 episodes in, we're at a point to where like the right way doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
The world does not work like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're doing a fantastic job of like bringing you right back to like the boys tried, the boys are keep trying, the boys are done acting and playing the suits, and they need to turn around and be badass because that's what the boys do.
All right.
So
Well, getting the team back together was pretty cool. And you're right. Now we do get to see the boys, but now we have superpowers on our team with Butcher. What do you think about superpowered Butcher? Like my question is, when you take this, you don't know what superpowers you're going to get, do you? Or do they know specifically what powers are good? Because they're talking about giving these soldiers. I'm like, doesn't the powers like come at random? Like you
It's
don't know
totally
what you're
random,
going to
yeah.
get. It's
what
a
if
lot
all
of
of a sudden like you're no longer allergic to poison ivy? Like that's a superpower,
that's a
I
lot. $2
guess.
million for a hit for 24 hours of superpowers.
Yeah.
But man,
But it's awesome because the oh shoot, what do they call it? V24 is what they're calling it, right? Compound V24 because it lasts for
uh,
24 hours.
yeah, something like that.
And
Beat
so
24. Yeah, 24V. Yeah.
the fact that they're able to at the same time Bot is progressing because Bot is finding new ways of like weaponizing their product for the current time. Like they're not just creating superheroes and they're not just tampering with kids paying parents millions of dollars to screw with their kids. They're finally to a point now to where like they're bringing stuff to trial to like, hey, like this could be like a military weapon, and that raises the stakes for the story. So I think
Mhm.
that once again, great storytelling.
Yeah. Um, I have a prediction that Huey's going to have superpowers at some point in time in this season too. I just think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
I
was
don't
that
know
the
why.
end with it?
I think that Homelander kills A-Train this season. It's just I don't know why. Like the scene between them and the actually every scene between them, they have like this huge tension between them. Like Homelander fucking
Yeah.
hates him, and he can't run anymore. So I think it's going to be a situation where he's either killed by Homelander or like he runs either away or to stop Homelander and dies because he does that type thing. Because they put that in place. Like, well, if I run again, I may die, but if I don't ever do it again, then I should be fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we'll see.
Everyone always talks about how how the Flash could be faster than Superman, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, but the Flash isn't bulletproof and doesn't have eye lasers and can't, blow Antarctica on his girlfriend and like all the other types of things Superman can do. Well,
Yeah,
Homelander can do all those types of things.
don't say it.
So it's
Yeah.
interesting what do you do at that point? You have to do self-sacrifice.
Yeah. Hey, so at the very end, Homelander goes off on Becca's son, his, I guess, stepson, you can say, Homelander's kid. He goes off on him. Why?
To
Like, they're
separate him. To separate him.
Yep.
okay. I guess I get that. I mean,
He knows that he's going to do something stupid,
but
and
don't you
so
get,
he's trying to push him away.
but don't you get the same effect if you just leave and never come back without pushing him away?
Yeah, but it doesn't have the same mental.
It's not
Finality
it's
to it.
not
For the
good for the
person,
show
yeah.
either. Yeah. I guess
He
that
has to
makes-
feel like he's doing it, and Butcher clearly has had that problem from the get go. He has to feel like what he's doing is emotionally right, but the only way that he does that is by forcing the negative emotions on the people around him.
Mhm.
Yeah. Makes sense. Dude, I'm loving this show, man. Maeve is in on the whole deal to get Homelander. What do you think? Like, if they're already coming out with episode 4, I can't imagine this show without Homelander. It seems like this season is building up for everybody to go up against him and try to kill him, but there's no way he dies, right? I mean, you don't continue the boys without Homelander, I don't think, right?
No, I think you have to tell a story that inches forward. I mean, that's what they have done.
Yeah.
And if they keep inching it to the point to where Homelander becomes the apocalyptic threat, yeah, let's see what happens. Who knows how long it's going to take us to get there? We just now, in the beginning of season 3, see him become truly unraveled.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you could have a whole nother season about, just like you said, about him being bad Superman. So, we'll see what happens.
or figuring out what that means to him, and him having problems of coping with being the baddest villain. I don't know.
But like you said, I mean, he needs people to love him. People don't love him, and there you go. I mean, that's not his reason to keep everything together.
I need ratings.
He's got
Ratings.
Yeah, the commercialization of what Vault's done. It's like, talking about, like I said, approval ratings and how many points, and the fact that he rose so many points, after his, tirade, and the fact of bringing Starlight in as a co-captain, and because she had higher, marks with the audience and that kind of thing, and that's just like really like chipping away at his ego, and I mean that's really all he's got.
When he is sitting there in his room, bug ass naked,
Yeah.
and she shows up to tell him that I'm like, it's fantastic because he's getting a hard on because she's telling him good news.
It's not for you.
And
it's not for you.
It's not for you.
This dude is like emotionally
it's not
such
for you.
still a child. It's insane.
Yeah.
100%. Last character I want to talk about is the guy, the leader of Vought. I can't remember the guy's name.
Oh, Mr. Edgar.
Yes, Edgar. So we get to see a young Edgar in this flashback scene with Grace. We get to see Black Noir's face. So we haven't seen that before yet.
Before and after.
Yeah, before and after, exactly. We see now why he wears the mask. He was told to put the mask on, and now we see why he wears the mask. I mean, he's wearing it for a different reason then, but now I see why he wears the mask because of what happened. That was a cool flashback scene. So I guess Black Noir he's always been like
around
with the government, whatever the government says and does. Like I'm with it. Like he was part of Payback. Payback was disbanded. Now he's part of the Seven, and he's always just a good soldier type deal from what I'm picking up on this. But yeah, we got to see a young Mr. Edward. You said what's his name?
Edgar.
Yeah, Mr. Edgar. Yeah, this guy is behind the whole thing, man. Like he's pulling all the strings on.
Clearly, I mean, he's
everything.
He adopted Nadia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you start to see like all the little like the man is playing 3-dimensional chess. I mean, he is way above what everyone else is doing.
Oh yeah,
and good for him because I mean that's mastermind.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's Palpatine, man.
I wonder if he has a superpower.
Don't know. Be interesting to see. I wouldn't
because
be
surprised. I mean this dude. I mean he like has a lot of clout against some. Especially, Homelander. I mean, he's just like, well, he's afraid of me. I'm like, okay.
He was. He was afraid of you. Do you think that what's her name? She can kill Homelander? Gosh, his daughter, the one he adopted.
Nadia.
Do you think she can kill Homelander? Like, I wonder if she's powerful enough to do that. Like, if she looked at him with the little eye thing she does.
She can probably hurt him. I don't know if she can, but
I'd fuck the shit out of you. No, I don't. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that you'd probably get like a good 15 seconds of her trying before like he,
lasered her or something.
Probably, yeah. Took care of her. Yeah.
Or just.
No. Well, I'm interested to see episode 4. You're 15 minutes in. I'm going to watch it probably tonight or tomorrow. More likely tomorrow. I'll probably get off late tonight. But The Boys, man, it always delivers. Always.
It delivers something.
Yeah. There's a lot of something.
It kind of goes all across the, hits all kinds of feelings and emotions.
Oh, yeah.
It goes all across the screen when they blow people up.
Everywhere. And
what
it's realistic.
Crimson Countess. I'm like, just.
Oh, yeah. Weird.
I'm like, damn, lady.
Crimson Countess and what was it? Gunpowder were interesting characters.
I'm still trying to find the Crimson Countess like I understand what they're trying to do. I'm just trying to understand the relevance. I know we haven't gotten it all yet, but
Right.
weird.
Yeah, it is very weird, but that fits right in line with the boys anyway. Is being weird, and they do a good job of storytelling. So something they lay a seed for right here could be something for later. So we'll see what happens. But oh yeah, the
Definitely
last
get
thing we didn't even talk about before I was even going to get off the boys, Homelander and Starlight romantic story here. I mean, obviously it's fake, but Homelander's doing
Well,
whatever the hell he wants to do.
well, that's the thing about it because she had over him for the longest time. That airplane footage, and now he's
Mm-hmm.
just like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I have to wonder too because with Stormfront killing herself, and you know what? Now that you asked that question, if it was suicide or if it was something else, that actually makes a little bit more sense in my head because you have Homelander who is up in the ratings among white males because of his like he didn't like he was speaking the truth, right? Or so as he saw it whenever he lost his fucking marbles on television, and that raised up his percentage among white males. He added another white male to the seven. He is now dating Starlight,
A white female,
and
yeah.
you have like he is just whitening the hell out of the seven. And I wonder now, like when you bring that up, like is he trying to do what Stormfront was trying to do? Like, is he trying to bring up like straight up white power and supremacy back to the?
I don't think he's that.
I'm
I
with
don't
you.
know.
Like I don't
I don't
think
know
he's
if he
that
would.
smart.
I don't know. I don't know if he could connect the dots like that. I don't think that.
But when it comes to ratings, and he understands that what he did increased his ratings among white males, it's possible.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying that like he's a mastermind. All I'm saying
But
is
that's
that
what set him off. Talking about his Nazi girlfriend died, and now she's
Yeah.
like,
that's what I'm saying.
so.
Yeah. All the big shit. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else y'all wanted to discuss with the boys? Was there any scenes we're missing?
I'm just waiting for Starlight to lose her shit because she's like, if you keep, because having the deep bag, now Homelander's pulling this shit. She's, she's like, I'm about tired of these dumb bitches.
She kind of embraced it though at the end.
I
Like
think
she was very standoffish.
She's playing a part.
Yeah, but she embraced that role is what I mean. Like she was like, all right, well, fuck it, this is what I got to do.
But that just shows you how easily manipulated Homelander can be. Because it's like, oh, you want to play into it? Oh, okay. I'm like, damn, dude, you that damn stupid. I mean, she wouldn't even piss on you if you're on fire. I mean, it's just not even going to happen.
It shows her trust in Huey, though. I mean, like, if she really is believing that, they're trying to do something, like if Huey and the boys are trying to do something here, then when he told her that she just needed to play the part, and now she is just playing the part.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm interested to see Huey's reaction to it. Yeah. That'll be very fun. But yeah, that's all I really got. I mean, ends with the puke in the face, going to Russia, dinner with the deep. Those are my last 3 notes. We talked about all that stuff already, though. So.
Not without my dolphin.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Deep.
I'm telling you, dude. That guy. He plays a good guy you want to hate.
He is so stupid.
He's an idiot.
Yeah. He's so self-centered and stupid. That's all I can say.
I mean, like I said, I didn't even feel bad for him. I'm like, if you're that damn stupid to put yourself in a situation like that, you know what? You deserve it.
That's what's so comical is that his name is the Deep, and he's a shallow-ass asshole.
Absolutely.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Oh.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's go on to another show. We got 2 left. Let's talk some Miss Marvel. We'll save Obi Wan for last. Let's talk some Miss Marvel. Okay, so my thoughts going in. Not a very popular character in the comics as far as I understand it. I want Marvel to do more relevant characters, but I wanted to go in this with an open mind. And I really sat down and thought about it, and I was like, okay, if I'm going to put it next to anything that's going to be like Stargirl. Okay, Stargirl's a character that I didn't really know much about. I knew of the character, but didn't really know much about her. All I really wanted whenever they were told me about Stargirl was I wanted the characters to play the roles really well, good acting, a decent storyline, and some awesome costumes, some good fight scenes. I wanted to have fun with it. So, okay, well, let me go into Captain Marvel with that same mindset. I want actors who can play the roles really well. I want a decent storyline. I want to learn about new characters, and I want to have fun. It did all that for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, after I got out of that episode, I was like, it did all that. Like, I have to kind of just sit back and say, I didn't think I was going to like this show. But through the first episode, I really, really enjoyed it. And you guys actually watched it before me, and y'all said that y'all came out of it kind of surprised. I really did too. Like I there's different ways that they did the filming. The actors they have playing the characters do a really good job, and there are a few quarrels with it, but every show has that. But all in all, man, I really, really am enjoying this show so far. Like I said, I kind of think I might like it better than Stargirl, but I've only seen one episode, so I kind of want to go through it. But it gives me that kind of feeling, and that was what I was expecting. So I'm really enjoying it so far. Thoughts?
I love the intro. I love that little intro. I love her fangirling. I mean, I thought that was awesome, and just like the visuals of everything, I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
But I just like the. I just don't get the. I guess the critique of her being of the ethnicity she is. I loved it because I'm like, man, it's like, I was thinking about, it's like, man, the food, because it's like such fantastic food. And I'm like, that's just me, because I'm just thinking, oh my God, I want to sit at your table, But her parents, because.
Loved her parents.
Well, yes and no. Yes and no, because they kind of took some stuff to the extreme. But then again, it might have been like a cultural type deal. Because I'm thinking some of the stuff that, she was asking, for me, I wouldn't be that, wigged out about. But then again, I'd be going with my kid.
Right.
I mean, I've done it before. So, I mean, that kind of thing. So I guess it's like the cultural difference. How her parents came down so hard on her and, this, that, and other. But, I mean, her dad, I mean, bless his heart, he had like the best. That was a kind of a tough scene, too. That was a kind of tough scene. But then I was like, there ain't no way in hell.
Yeah.
Nobody's walking out of the house looking like that. No, dude.
I wouldn't even present myself like that to my daughter. Yeah. But he was trying. Bless his heart.
I give him credit for that. Yeah. So.
No, dang it. I had something around the tip of my tongue what you were talking about that I wanted to say. And as soon as I wanted to get it out, I couldn't say it. Because I can't remember.
Timothy?
No, it's not Timothy.
Stop it.
The ethnicity of the character, that didn't bother me at all. Like I think that the actress, the character they get to play the role, does a great job. I love the parents in this. The little scenes we got with the brother are fine. I do wonder, where is this at? Like, where are they located?
Jersey City.
Jersey City.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I couldn't remember if they said it. They may have said it once. I just missed it, but I just couldn't remember like where it was located. And I was like,
yeah, because when she couldn't get her bike on the bus, and she's like, "You think it'll be here?" And then her friend was like, "Dude, this is Jersey City. I doubt it."
That's right. Which, by the way, what a dickhead driver. Sorry.
Jersey City. Go ahead.
What were you saying?
She's well known to be Jersey City like origin.
Oh, okay. I mean, I wasn't sure. I didn't know anything about the character. I couldn't remember. But yeah, what a dickhead bus driver.
I didn't know you could take bikes on buses. Period.
I think if you could fit it on, they probably don't care. But I don't know. Once again, I've never lived in a city where I've had to take a bus. To be really honest with you.
Bus schedules suck.
I just love their imagination. Like I said, I love the fangirl or as much as they put into it, especially then when you see they actually go to the Avenger Con, I'm thinking, that's just crazy. I mean, even the idea of like in their world, I mean, the Avengers are real.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts.
Oh yeah. I want to go to that Avenger Con.
I know, right?
I was like, man, that would be awesome to go to.
I'm not going to lie. That Avenger Con, number one, as a con, seemed weak, but great. Number two, reminded me hardcore of Oh my god, I can't think of what's the director's name who did Batman and Robin and Batman Forever. It reminded me
Schumacher.
of Schumacher. It reminded me of like a Schumacher style Batman event where like there was just a whole bunch of lights. It wasn't real big, but like it was just like a whole bunch of glitz and
Yeah.
glamour, but it was very very small. Um, I find the show as a whole, a lot of people either had expectations that were ruined, or they're ruined by the authenticity of the character. But when you walk into these shows, I mean, it's like that's like talking about Hawkeye. Like everyone's like, Hawkeye's gonna be horrible. Like Hawkeye was funny.
I liked it. Yeah.
Look, by no means is it like top tier, but at the same time, like it's enjoyable. And this show is only supposed to be 6 episodes, also. So when it opened, and not even when it opened, when they had the trailer for this show, I was like, the cinematography looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The whoever is imagining this and turning it into what we see is fantastic.
Yeah.
I cannot argue with it. It's so, I mean, if you have a teenager and you think about like what they would do with a world like this that they lived in, like it's phenomenal. The fact that they had the chat with neon lights and the store like going up as she was like going as oh my god, what's his name? Bruno was going up. It was so good. I mean, like they put a visualization on something that's happened virtually on a phone, and that's just like one aspect of this show. Like you said, you pointed out, like her podcast in the beginning, her all of the visuals of the characters, the fact that she's making all these YouTube videos because she loves who and what they are. And then the one thing she wants to do is it's not petty, but it's so not threatening, is to go to AvengerCon. And yet, yes, she has strict parents. Like it's a battle for her to come to terms with even asking them to go to this thing. And to both of you guys' point, like the fact that the dad was trying in a very, very bad way. But I mean, the family was trying, but I mean, that's very stereotypical. We have seen that trope of the uh, ethnic family try to help their youngest to adapt to the world that they now live in.
Right.
And it felt very much like a story that I've been comfortable with, not uncomfortably comfortable with for many years, because we have seen it time and time again. And so it's very funny that they can still do that in 2022. They can still push that kind of narrative, but on like a superhero level. And I mean, I can't say enough about the visuals alone about this show, because I think every bit of it is interesting. The fact that they were able to bring back in the Captain Marvel or Captain America theme, the original Star Spangled Man, I was sitting there listening to it. I'm like, I never thought that I'd hear this again ever in like any Marvel property.
Yeah. Well, we talk about her mom and how her mom was very strict in this, and I think they're trying to give you that the dynamic between the goofy father and the strict mother, but they're also, I think there's more to this than we see so far. We're only one episode in, especially with the bracelet, the whatever it was she has that gives her powers. Just notice as soon as her mom sees that, she immediately wants her to put it away. Like she knows something else. And there is the term her mom says, whether she's like, do you want to be a person who chases fantasies? Making me believe there's something in her mom's past that has to do with this. Maybe not necessarily with her mom, but maybe some other family member or something like that, that she is trying to protect her from. So I think we're going to get more of that as it goes on. But yeah, her mom is really strict. I'll give you that. But I mean, everybody's protective of their kids, man. I mean, she's not necessarily wrong, other than more strict than I would have been. But, everybody has the right to parent their kids as they see fit. So I will say, for a homemade cosplay costume, that was a badass Captain Marvel costume.
Bruno can airbrush.
He can airbrush, she can sew. That was an awesome costume. I was like, holy shit, that's cool. I would love to wear something like that. Not Captain Marvel's, obviously, but love to wear something like that to a con. Like, it looked really, really good. Okay, so quarrels I have with the show. I know before we were coming in, people had complaints about the way the hands were portrayed. I don't have a basis with this character. So like the way the powers are portrayed to me is not really I don't care. It works for me. It's fine. The way she's doing the hands. I'm sure that if she learns to control it, it'll be a little better. What I don't like is like the last scene when she's sitting there in the bed and she's just looking at her hand. Her hand's got that like Silver Surfer chrome neon look to it, whatever glowing look to it. It doesn't look good. The hand looks smaller than it should be, one, and it just doesn't look good. Just that specific scene. And I'm like, oh, they could have done a better job with that. I don't mind the powers. It's just that specific one. I was like, that's kind of for how good everything else looked. Because Ross brought it up. Everything else did look really, really good. Just that specific thing. And I was like, I wonder if that's what people were complaining about. Because if that's what people are saying, then I can see that. But as far as the powers go, I got no problem with that. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool. I was interested to see how she's going to progress with this and what it's going to do. So
People complain about her powers because her powers are more along the lines of Mr. Fantastic.
as far as stretchy,
Stretchy and the ability to manipulate the size of like your fist if you extend it. Like you turn it into, 5-6 times your body size
as
as
opposed
you
to
hit
being
somebody.
electrified. I
Right.
got you.
And so
Okay.
now what the show has done is turned it into more of a CG-esque style effect.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than it being the manipulation of the actual human body, it is the manipulation of whatever this gauntlet bangle thing does for her. And it's like I get it. You need to find a way to like adapt a story to the screen, and sometimes the best way is not the way that other formats have done it before.
Right.
And I also think that it's funny that so many people have trouble with them doing that with this character when they've done it with other characters to a certain extent.
Mm.
And this is the one they choose to have a problem with, especially when they're so close to telling a Fantastic Four story. If that comes out, how do you compare those two? We got to see a little bit of Reed Richards in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie, only enough to know what we were looking at. Besides the costume and the character that everyone wanted to play that character, or the actor that everyone wanted to play that character, we saw a little bit of his abilities. But I mean, like, he was spaghetti in seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And that only means that we're going to get the best of it to come. So if Miss Marvel steals all that thunder, I think people are going to have a problem with that. On the flip side of it, she carries the name Marvel. Captain Marvel and what's her name? Rambo? Monica Rambo,
Yeah.
who's also going to be having the same power style look. All of them are going to be doing the Marvels, or is it the Marvels? Is that
I
what
don't
that
know.
movie's called? So I think they kind of want to keep all of that similar to each other too. They want to keep it all in the same wheelhouse as far as like the graphics go, to kind of give you that same kind of persona that these girls are all working as one, and they kind of stem from something
Right. Almost like a
that's very
blended.
similar.
Yeah.
Right. So most people's problem is with that, like not being not seeing what they have seen in the comic books, which, and to me, I haven't seen it in the comic books. I've seen it in Lego games. I know where all that kind of stuff comes from because I've seen it in
Mhm.
all of the Lego Avengers games, because Miss Marvel was like an untapped, like no one has a chokehold on her rights. And so it's so funny because she's always been across all of those different properties.
Mhm.
I don't know why people have such a big problem with it, though. You
Yeah.
can just let it go. It's not that big of a deal.
I think people just look for a reason to hate something. Like I said, I went into it not expecting it to be something I was going to like, but I didn't hate it, and I wasn't like downing it beforehand. I think some people just they look for reasons to hate things sometimes, and it's not always. But and the only reason I say that is because I picked on or Miss Marvel because it's not a huge seller in the comics. You don't see Miss Marvel comics all over the shelves. You don't see people talking about it, and like it's not a huge pull. So for them to change something from the source material slightly shouldn't be as big of an issue as if you were to do it with, say, like Superman, you know? Not saying that one's better than the other. It's a total opinion, but just saying that's why for me it feels a little different. It feels like I don't feel like there's enough hardcore Miss Marvel fans to come out there and be like, this is not right. Everybody else needs to get over it. If the actress does a great job, the story's done well, then it should be fine, And so far from what I've seen, it is.
And this actress seems fun. I mean, she seems like she's having a great time.
Yeah.
Like, as much as she's not having a great time.
Her and the other kid, I can't remember what you say his name was.
Bruno.
Bruno have a great chemistry together.
They do.
They really do. And Bruno, I got to talk to Snell about this. Looks like a young Travis Snell. So I don't know if you noticed that or not, but he does. He looks like young Travis Snell. So I might talk to him about that, or maybe just post a picture of them side by side. See what he says. But yeah, the actress I think does a great job. Story looks like it's gonna be fun. I know nothing about this character, so everything from here on out I learn as I go, and I just hope they do a good job teaching me.
We had a post-credit scene too, didn't we?
I did not see that. If they did, I know that I should be trained to do that, but especially when I have the fast forward button. But I don't know. I just didn't.
Oh, I gotta tell you, I can't remember what it was. Either way, I mean,
it'll probably be something leading into the next episode.
Totally.
All right. Well, let's move. You got anything else, Captain Marvel? Anybody? It's not Captain Marvel. Excuse me, Miss Marvel.
No.
I'm looking for next episode. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Something I'm gonna continue watching. All right. Well, let's do last show. Kenobi. We're on the penultimate next week, right?
Oh. Yeah.
Yep.
I can't believe it's already almost over. Still loving the show.
Goes quick.
Yeah. I'm still loving this show. I do like it picks up right where it left off. We get Obi in the back of the tank. Little Leia's killing it. I mean, just give me y'all's overall thoughts, and then we'll start going because I can't really say a whole lot without starting to dive into it. But I want to get some general thoughts first.
The tomb, man. The tomb.
Yeah.
Like the full. We're seeing Obi Wan start to round the horn on his need to separate himself from the world and protect Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting to see him like realize who he is and what he's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're starting to see the effects of like the Jedi disappearing and the fact that him and Yoda and all of the other Jedi who have disappeared come to light. And that tomb was like one of those big things. Like it was a very big visual because I'm going to have to go right back to the Fallen Order video game.
Mm-hmm.
Like they pull a lot of that same sentiment in this show. And that is the desperation that happens when all the Jedi are gone.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of like what steps took to get to the rebellion, to rebuild, to fight, to push for episodes 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of legwork that they're doing that is not really being seen. But when you reach a point to where you see that tomb and you're just like, you're leveled, like you're like, holy hell. It's like seeing the clone begging for money, the clones are done. They're replaced. Now you see like a tomb of Jedi.
I was gonna say, are we to assume those are all Jedi?
Yeah. That is Temple Inquisitoris, man. Like that's if they're gonna bring them somewhere, they want trophies, and that's their trophy haul.
And they're all under Vader's base, which by the way is badass.
I don't understand how they got the kid in the helmet. That had to be like one of the first Jedi that they like captured because like that's like a Padawan helmet. That's like from the beginning of this show, and like I said that
okay.
Reva was next to him.
You don't mean you don't understand how they got the helmet on the kid. You don't.
No.
You don't understand how they got the kid with the helmet.
Anyone can put a hat on anybody.
Yeah, I was like, it seems pretty simple. I was like, you just put it on top. But Yeah, I don't know either, but I think that was more symbolic. I think so that way,
Yeah.
maybe so that way people like me who are wondering, are those all Jedi? Yeah, it is all Jedi. Moron. Look, it's even Padawans. Probably what they're saying. So, yeah, tomb scene was very, very crazy. I like Reva trying to persuade Leia.
Oh,
You know,
She
Leia's
uses
strong.
the Obi Wan name. She trumps what everyone has thought of, like the fact that she hasn't known Ben by any other name than Ben. She calls him Obi Wan in that interrogation.
Does she?
Yeah, I pointed that out. Like I wrote it down. Like as soon as it happened, like she called him Obi Wan.
But wait, so there no. I thought he does tell her his name's Obi Wan. I thought
I don't know if up to this point we've had that. I
was
think he has
the
referred to himself as Ben the whole entire time.
who was the traitor Tala? Did she say Obi Wan whenever that she was around? Maybe sure that I don't know. You know, you're probably right.
I don't think so.
You're probably right, but I didn't pick up on that. Yeah, I thought it was funny how I do like how she's like, okay, I'll tell you everything, but I gotta ask my dad first. Like I like the fine trick. It's like, hey, let's see if we can do this.
I'll fucks with you if Daddy says it's okay.
Yeah, she's tough, man. Um, I do like how in Vader's castle there's no security. It's like
It's Vader, bro.
who the fuck would try to break in here?
It's like Homelander in the Insecurity.
Makes it really really easy. And Kevin actually confirms. He said, "No, this is the first time anyone's saying Obi-Wan around her." So okay, well, yeah. Well,
Now,
see,
actually, you said that. I want you to understand something, right? Vader's castle is not the Inquisitorius. Like that's not the same place.
yeah, because
oh,
it's the water moon that's off of
Off of Mustafar.
around
It's in the
Mustafar.
Mustafar system.
Yeah.
oh, I got you. That
Yeah.
wasn't Vader's.
I'm
castle.
sorry, I got confused on what you were saying.
No, that was my. Yeah, it was my fault for thinking that's what it was. I didn't
He
think that's
is
what
on
Vader's-
the planet that he lost his limbs.
Yeah,
His castle is on that lava planet full of hot hell, death, and stinky feet.
and a badass throne room.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. I love how in this show it's always so easy to hide in plain sight, and it is in real life too. How like think about it. If you were to if Ross, if me and you were to go put coveralls on and grab a bucket and a ladder, we could go anywhere we wanted to,
Yep.
anywhere, and nobody would question us.
Yep.
As long as we looked like we knew what we were doing.
Flash
Nobody
the
would
backside of a credit card, man. Got a magnet strip. We're good. We're good. Hey. Like Wayne's World, like backstage pass, backstage pass, backstage pass.
Yeah. So, and it's just crazy how and that's kind of the mindset they go with this. It's just like, okay, just walk. Just
The
walk through the
memes
crowd.
are ridiculous. The
Yeah.
people of two grown adults in one trench coat walking through someplace, like one on top of the other, not like side by side, one on top of the other in a grown ass trench coat. And they're like, no one will notice. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, it makes for the good show. So, oh, I wanted to ask too. So at the end, they get saved by the A-wings, right? Badass plane comes in. It's awesome. Can those things hover?
Oh, what
Can-
you're gonna
can-
find is that a lot of the technology that we have nowadays is definitely helping what the technology they used to have, and so they are
Okay.
aiding and adding.
I was gonna say because I didn't think an A-wing could just hover like a Harrier. I thought it had to be in constant motion, but this A-wing is just like I'll hold them off and just standing right there. And I was like, wow,
not
okay.
totally true because they do have to like lift up,
To
leave the
take
actual
off.
hangar.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
I don't know. I guess I've just never seen an A-wing do that before. It's always in motion. But do love the vehicle.
the callback and everything, and I thought it was a little too much snow speederish to not be a snow speeder because the snow speeders are just modified wings, and as much as they look like snow speeders, I thought they were only supposed to look like that because they were modified for the snow and the cold temperature.
Yeah.
But that's headcanon that's unnecessary and
That's right.
shit that I bring into it.
So I thought Reva was gonna get killed at the end of this episode. I was like, oh, she's done. I was like, they're gonna kill his character off. Tracker. And I was sitting here thinking about it. I was like, where'd you put the tracker? Where'd you put the tracker? Where'd you put the tracker? Oh, I see where she put the tracker. Where'd you put the tracker, Sarah? In the robot.
Lola.
in Lola, which is sad. Poor Lola, man. She's been abused like hell throughout this
She's
whole
already
show.
fixed a couple times. I mean, she's been like
Yeah.
through. She's been through
Yeah.
everything.
Let's see. Oh,
Wasn't the Lola song the one that Weird Al turned into Yoda?
yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I was on that same page.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that feels right.
Ooh, I wonder if that's like inside the baseball type thing right there. Maybe, I don't know. We had mentioned last week, Ross. I was asking you about how they were talking about the way and this thing, and I was like, "Is this the seeds of the rebellion?" And then we actually got, bam, the rebellion symbol here, and I was like, "Okay, cool. So that's what this is. This is the second place they found this. So now they're starting to discover there is a resistance coming. Like there is something afoot."
It's funny too because they are showing the evolution of the Jedi insignia into the rebellion insignia.
Yeah.
Like it's being the fact that they got like carved into places, it is starting to like transform into a new image
Yeah.
because of like what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm gonna say it anyway, but like simpleton ways of like trying to show that you were here. You know, it's like when we were young, it was like, you know, put blah 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 was here everywhere that you go. Like you
Right.
sign it in Sharpie or you carve it into something, and like the next thing you know, like
Right. Russell's phone
WAS
number on the
turns into
bathroom door.
WUZ, and you know, like weird shit happens. And so it's funny to see the evolution of that
Mhm.
because I always wonder like where did they pull that signia from? But it's more now like they are transforming it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, seeds of like this
Yeah,
is the beginning.
yeah.
So, okay, so there's the scene with God, I can't, why God, Tala. She's undercover, right?
Mhm.
And first of all, she's sitting there at this computer with 3 other people in the room. There's no way nobody's hearing her. And then she goes and takes that guy in the back and takes care of that guy. Comes and sits back down, and there's still 2 other people in the room. Like it zooms out, and there's and like nobody noticed that. Nobody at all noticed that.
Yep.
Like that was a little okay. That one kind of bothered me a little bit. She is a badass though. Like she can definitely kick some ass. I did hate it though that it got to the moment of Leia like having these things right next to her face before all she had to do was walk in there. She could have done it any time. She's like, I need you to distract her. And she's like, why? Just go do it. It's like walk in there and stop her. That's all you gotta do is just walk in there and you're gonna stop what's happening. Or at least delay it. And I was like, this whole time you've been waiting and she's this close to death, and that's when you decide to walk in there? It's like, come on, man. She's slipping.
Not a show about television and movies and sci-fi and shit. No way in hell.
She's gonna die though. Got a pretty good prediction. She's gonna die, but we'll see what happens. So they save Leia, get her back. 2 episodes left. I'm assuming next episode we're gonna be left on a cliffhanger with Obi Wan about to die or about to face off with Vader. Something like that.
Something's got to happen. They left this one on a wholesome note, and it was the true feeling of Grandpa Ben, Grandpa Obi-Wan. You know, they had Leia, who once again finds herself in a circle of trouble. She comes out on the good side of it, and she is right there, like, thank you, without saying the words, to Obi-Wan for saving me. And you're just sitting there feeling all of the feelings because you're like, he could have been like your great uncle, you know, like he could have been like your person who would have been there through your whole entire growing up. If your dad wasn't such an asshole and your mom was able to figure out her emotions and survive. Because I don't know. Once again, that death to me, like you can explain it in all sorts of different ways, but it still doesn't make sense.
She died of a broken heart, man.
If all of that would have worked out, Grandpa Obi-Wan would have been right there with his little girl.
100%.
Right? And they leave you on that wholesome note.
Papa Yoda.
And so, like, you know, next week's going to be doom and gloom.
Mm-hmm. Damn it. Once again, see, this is why I usually try to have a blank piece of paper with me to keep it and to write stuff down. Son of a bitch. Yes, next week is going to be crazy. Damn it, where did I want to go with this? I can't remember, man. Talk Star Wars for a second. It'll come back to me. Damn it, I hate when I do that.
Uh, the only
Uh,
thing I was going to point out was the fact that when Reva threw that bomb into the speeder, I was like, why haven't more people done that? Like, why? I want to blow that shit up. Boom! Take
right,
that,
it was right
bitch.
there in front of you the whole time. You
Yes,
could have just been like, up. It was like
that
standing,
whole
hovering
scene was like
over like
a
the missiles.
tortoise walking. I'm like,
Yeah.
why are we taking forever? No one can hit anything. The ships came in, no one's doing anything. She's yelling from across the bay. Oh no, wait! All of a sudden, she's like 50 feet away from like fucking Obi Wan. Like all these things are happening. I'm not understanding what's going on, but it the transition from the conversation with Reva calling Tala a spy and them having that back and forth, I was like, oh, you are perfectly wasting time because you're wasting my time right now. Like, I don't know what you guys two are talking about, but this just feels like a waste of my time.
Hmm.
And then to turn around and like ships are coming in and Obi-Wan's using his lightsaber to save Leia, and like now we're in a trench coat, to all of a sudden like everything's happening so fast. I'm like, what? Slow down a bit. You did a good job. You had me when he was sneaking around with the stereo droids, I think is what they were called.
Yeah.
And the glass and the water and him
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
use the force. And all of a sudden there's that one Imperial um uh dude in like I'm gonna call it a dress uniform, not a dress uniform, but like a Imperial uniform with a trench coat on, and like all of a sudden like that's real handy. I kept on finding like all these things kind of poke out of nowhere.
Hey, that works.
Yeah, and it's
You got to
great
make
for
it
the
work for the
story.
story. Yeah.
I've
Uh,
loved all the episodes. I Mainly because I just didn't know what they were going to do with Obi-Wan. I thought they could screw it up really easy, and I thought they've done a really good job so far with 4 episodes.
okay, Kevin says, I think that's how Baby Today escaped with Ice Cube's son. If you look back, there is a round ball in his container that he has in that scene. I have no idea what he's talking
Probably talking
about.
about Baby Yoda. You know how Yoda
Um,
may have escaped.
maybe, yeah. The Ice Cube son thing is throwing me off.
Probably with the youngling. When you saw the youngling, the one with the hat.
Oh, possibly, yeah. Oh, yeah, he does. He says Baby Yoda. Okay, so you were right. You nailed it. I remember what I was going to say. We got 2 episodes left. Have y'all seen Hayden Christensen? I haven't.
Well,
Kind of, sort of, yes.
in the
Unless
tank.
that
You
was
saw him?
actually Hayden Christensen. So
Yes.
that's the Hayden Christensen cameo.
Well,
That's
I
what we
mean that
got.
is Hayden Christensen. Yeah.
That okay.
I mean, okay. Here,
I was afraid that was going to be it, and I was like, how are they going to do Hayden Christensen if they don't do a flashback?
hold on, because I'm not saying that none of that stuff's out the window yet. We do have 2 episodes left. However, we are hearing all of the rumors that, not that there was going to be like a Obi-Wan 2 or second season, but there could be like a season of a show. There should be a show that spins off of this.
A prequel, a 5-year prequel.
Not quite. But then there's also the rumors that Hayden is going to be in the Ahsoka show.
That'd be cool.
So we're getting a lot of information that's just, it could all be hearsay and rumors. But there could be truth to it. And that's exciting because we want to hold out for the positive hope and those types of things.
You're right. You're
It
absolutely
would
right.
make sense to have him. Like I
It
said, I
would.
could see more of like a, because that's, seeing the prequels, especially with Revenge of the Sith, and now, watching Clone Wars and Rebels and seeing how much Ahsoka affected Anakin too. So I just always felt like it was a combination of Anakin and Padme, and then of course all this other stuff that really sent him over to the dark side.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I would like to see kind of like more of that relationship, maybe with the Ahsoka series. Maybe it's just her remembering, her, dealings with Anakin, because that was, her master. So I'm kind of hoping that that does happen, kind of like bridge that gap.
Yeah.
In this show, I think that we could get some sort of, oh my god, I can't say it because Greg hasn't finished Rebels.
You can say it. I don't care.
We could get some sort of season 2 finale esque unmask, something happen, and it be more than just Hayden in a tank.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there there is already established ways that they've done it that they can mirror off of
Okay.
and still make it like workable and cool to see.
I'm just interested to see it. Like I said, I know they made a big deal about Hayden Christian coming back, and I knew that was him in there, but I was like, I hope that's not the cameo, like the literal 2-second face shot of him with all the makeup on, looking like burnt up Darth Vader. But if it is, that's what it is.
That's why I sent you guys a picture of those stunt doubles because I thought it was so funny where you had such a GQ Darth Vader stunt double,
Yeah.
but then you had some like rat looking Obi Wan stunt double.
He
I'm
looks
like,
really short.
oh my
Obi
god.
Wan stunt double, really,
Yeah.
really short.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I got nothing else about Obi Wan. We got 2 episodes left. Penultimate's next week. It's going to be fun. I hate the show's coming to an end, but give me more Star Wars, any kind of Star Wars. We still got what is it? Andor coming out. We got Ahsoka. We got a lot of stuff, in the future. So a lot of stuff to look forward to. Was there anything else y'all wanted to say about Obi-Wan?
This was the shortest episode yet. I mean, not by a whole lot, but what I would love to see more of is these short seasons get longer episodes. And I hope they give us a full pack story for the next 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't this episode only like 36 minutes long?
It was less than 40. I do know that.
Yeah, I think it was like 36, and that's with like a 2-minute intro and 3 minutes of credits. And I was like, wow. I was like, that's kind of, it seems like just a regular television show. But I don't know. Either way, hopefully the next one won't be Asteroid Your I'd like a little more length out of it. Like The Boys, man, it's always an hour.
Mm-hmm.
An hour, minutes, an hour, 2 minutes. Like it's an hour. So, but I don't want a lot of story for the sake of story. Like I don't want filler. I don't want crap story. So if you're going to give me a shorter story without the crap and the filler, then I'm okay with that.
Sure.
Kevin asked, didn't they announce season 2? Yes, they did.
I don't think it's discussed.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's been finalized. Because
I think what they're doing is they are. I think that they have ideas for other stories beforehand, but what happens is if they muddle too much with Obi-Wan, it's going to really piss off the fan base. And so I think what they're discussing right now is getting rumored to be Obi-Wan episode 2 from the fans, and I don't think that's what it's going to be.
Okay.
I think we're going to get a deeper story either into like Inquisitors or either into the building of the rebellion. And as much as Andor is going to help with that, I just think that they're focusing on this time frame, and a lot of things are getting rumored that aren't exactly true.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's going to be difficult with Obi-Wan because, like I said, how they end this season is going to be real big for me, and how they tie it in with the meeting of them in A New Hope. But it does kind of bother me a little bit if they're talking about an Obi-Wan season 2. Does that mean that like you don't have a definite endpoint for season 1? Like is season 1 going to leave me in a flux? Or
it's totally not inconceivable that they carry this story out for another season. I'm not saying that they're not doing a season 2. All that I'm saying is there's a lot of
other story,
a lot of darkness around it.
Right.
They could totally extend this story out. The problem is that if they didn't know that going into it, then that could screw up the story.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't plan for 2 seasons right off the bat, then the ending of this one could really fuck up what people enjoy out of the next one. If they plan for it accordingly, then there's a great possibility they can keep this going, because we are in a matter of days right now. Like, a matter of days in the Obi-Wan story.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can tell a shit ton of story.
Yeah.
if you keep that same kind of time progression.
Yeah, a matter of days after a 10-year span. So yeah, you're right. It's there's a lot of stuff to tell in there, and so many different places you can go with it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like I said, they have the ability to screw it up, and if they don't go in with a plan, then you're going to end up with the last trilogy of movies.
Yeah, there's one sentence that could or just any combination of words that could just throw everything off. Mm-hmm. If they don't write it correctly.
And that's what's funny is it literally could just be one phrase out of place. Mm-hmm. That could completely set the fan base off, erupt.
So all of the YouTubers and clickbaiters are all out there constantly transforming what things are getting said. Yeah.
No. That's going to happen. Haters can hate, right? Well, I got nothing else.
That's enough. I think we covered it.
All right, good deal. Well, let's go ahead and wrap everything up and roll out of here then. Sarah, where can they find you at?
You can find me on the Twitter at MyLadyKitten. Or here. That's about it. I mean, it's tough, after, have long weeks. It's always come join us for a little bit of therapy of just talking about stuff that we absolutely love after dealing with some dumb shit throughout the week.
It is nice.
And some stuff that some people don't love, like exploding dicks.
Yes. Oh. Which we didn't really bring up at all, but I don't think we did that.
Some things are better left.
Yeah, we can just leave it right there. It's
perfectly
discussed. That's fine. Yeah. That's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Ross, where they can find you, buddy?
Right here, man.
Right here. If y'all want to get a hold of him, ask him any kind of questions or get a message to him, just hit me up and I'll try to pass that along for you. You can hit me up at the Bad Daddy 52 on Twitter. It is my personal handle. Check out at GCS Podcast 1 is the show handle. We're here live every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, unless life hits us, and sometimes we'll do a Saturday or Sunday. But we'll try to let you know in advance if that happens. Give us a like, give us a review, share with a friend, hop on the show. We're always looking for people to come in the chat room. It's starting to be more plenty now. People are coming in with a little more regularity. It's fun. We talk about the stuff y'all talk about. We post your chats. It's try to be as interactive as we can. It's a good time. So other than that, thank everybody who shows up. Thank everybody who listens. And we will be back next week. Until then, I'm going to say keep pounding because I'm getting tired of saying later, skaters. Keep pounding. You won, Ross. Keep pounding.